Okay, welcome to the second game today. This is sort of the big one, the main event. We've got Ryan Dimarco versus Ian Eldridge, a Stoke versus Telford battle. These guys have played before. It was 25-24, but first off, welcome to the stream. I'll start with who's on here. So myself, Lee Wetfield, and joined by the Telfordian ex-Stokey, Danny Evans.
Thank you, Lee. I'm absolutely delighted to be joining you this evening, and welcome to the tens of people joining us from around the globe for what is billed as an epic rematch, according to the poster. And if their first match was anything to go by, and if this is anything similar, we're in for another treat.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I think obviously there's been a game on earlier that was like pretty much all out attack, and sort of ended with a little bit of a scoreline that sort of was one-sided. I don't think this is going to be the case for this one. I think this will be a close game. We both have spells of magic and also some not so magic, but let's see how they go. A great break from Ryan there at the start.
Yeah, that's first poke of the match. That's what you want to see, a nice big split like that, and just get a frame under your belt, isn't it? As from what I can gather from the match earlier, it took the best part of 10 frames for Wayne to get one under his belt, which especially in a race to 15, you can't afford to do. And it's going to be plenty of pool to be played in this match, but you want to get off on the right start, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, obviously this one's first to 21, so it's a little bit longer race than the one earlier. They're playing for £3,000, and Ryan's played a good shot there. Still some decisions need to play to get out on this finish, but they're playing for £3,000, £1,000 man, so decent sized pot. There's a few people in the room. We just sort of finished the first session of the money games, and there's quite a few people in the room just watching the end of Ash and Gaz Davies finish off a 15-14 battle. So I'm expecting a lot of those people just to move into the other room now and watch this game. And
as Ryan, confident player that he is, gets that first frame break dish under his belt, probably a good opportunity whilst the match is getting started to have a bit of a recap of what happened earlier, Lee. Yeah. So you've been here for the day, so if you want to talk us through some of what happened in the first session.
Yeah, so for obviously the game that we discussed, just the Mikey game, the one that was on the stream, that game ended quite on a one-sided fashion, so Mikey won that one 15-5. Then the other games have all been relatively close, or a couple of them going down to the last frame deciders. You had Sean Worrell beating John Hirst 15-14, a bit of a weird end to that match. I think obviously Sean had a chance, John had a chance, Sean had a chance, and so forth. But in the end, Sean got over the line and took a good win against John, because I sort of fancied John being a favourite in that one. Obviously, we just talked about the Gaz and Ash game. Ash took out a really good 8-ball at the end there at 14-all. Gaz broke dry, and Ash took out a really good finish after missing a black to win the match, so already playing his head a little bit. And then the other game was Gary Mountford, a young lad who plays here in Plaza, beat Kev West 15-12, and I think he beat him from 11-7 down as well, so quite a good win for Gary. Probably one of the up-and-coming players and a bit of a name to look out for in the future if he continues on with pool, if it's something that he feels like he wants to do. And then just to note that we have got another game going at the moment, so we've got Lee Hammersley, Simon Yates, expecting that game to be a titanic battle again. Both players probably contrast compared to the game that we're seeing here in front of us. Two really attacking players, and Lee and Simon maybe not as much, capable of knocking balls in, but obviously have a different way of going about it.
So that leaves us 3-1 Telford at the moment, with 2 to play then.
Correct, 3-1 Telford. And while we've been talking, Ryan took out a really good finish in the first frame, and going about these yellows in a very similar fashion here.
I think this typifies the way Ryan plays. He almost doesn't think, he just gets down and goes. He's very attacking, just very kind of nonchalant about the way he plays. There's no kind of, overthinking where he's concerned. He's just point and shoot as a player, and, got off to a great start here. And he's looking at 2-0. I mean, got some work to do here.
Point and shoot's a really good euphemism for sort of the way that he does play.
Yeah.
He doesn't really walk up, feather the ball, but really it's effective what he does.
But he's in trouble here, so like you say, it's perhaps where he doesn't take that extra second or two to mind his work, and there's a good example of exactly that. So control back to Ernie, and even at this stage, you're fully expecting this to go 1-1 from here. And I think I'd forgotten all about their first match, so I went back and had a look at the end of that last match, which went to a decider. So again, as close as it could be, and that match had everything from a neutral perspective. In that last kind of 2 or 3 frames, absolutely brilliant ending to the match that I'd completely forgotten about. But I think Ernie is a completely different proposition these days, and not just because I'm from Telford, but I just think that Ryan really can't afford to do too much of what he's done already. Ernie will capitalise on these mistakes, and I think he's going to be a real handful today. I really do. My gut feeling, Ernie probably wins this by 5 or 6.
Okay.
I expect it to be, quite a one-sided affair.
I think he's played a two-way. I think he's played a two-way shot, and he's played the double, but also, with getting a good right as well. Guys, I can see that as some around the mic's being too close to the mouth. Just let us know if that's any better now. I've sort of moved mine away a little bit. And Danny's just doing the same. So let us know if there's any improvement on that. Good to have you on, Neil. Also Mitch. Good to have you on as well, mate. I suppose the one thing that we do need to do is start getting some predictions in the chat.
Absolutely.
We waited till people got 7-0 up this morning before we started putting some predictions in there. So let's start seeing some of them. There's 50 or so of you in the chat now. So let's see what we're getting.
Confident start here from both players. It's all one visit pool, and I'm expecting this to carry on throughout the match. I don't think this match is going to take long at all. Like I said, both of them very attacking players. They're going to look to get the job done.
Okay, so we're starting get some predictions in there. Hi Sean, obviously GYFDO to yourself. 21-19 Ernie, 21-17 Ernie, 21-18 Ernie, 21-18 either way. So first little section there of people sort of expecting Ernie to win. Brett's come in there with a 21-16 for Ryan. I think you could sort of call this game anywhere between 21-15 upwards for either player. Again, I do think it'll be close. I do think no one's really going to run away with this game, but
slack racked himself there. That's, you know, don't want to start doing too many of
So
that.
it was something I mentioned on the chat this morning. Obviously, doing that first game is that I find this table a really tough breaking table. Mikey didn't. Mikey broke really well today.
He's got a phenomenal break
yeah.
though. Really
Do tend to find that this table doesn't break maybe as well as some of the other tables for some strange reason. There's no real rhyme or reason as to why it doesn't break well, because it's exactly the same as the other tables, but it just seems to not somehow just not break as well as the other ones.
I think it's really interesting when you look at these predictions that, you know, there's a natural trend that the Stoke players are expecting Ryan to win, the Telford players are expecting Ernie to win, and that's because, you know, those players will be seeing their player play a lot more than the other. I just think for me, Ernie, you know, he puts in solid performances at the tournaments wherever he goes. You know, he plays well at Plaza, he plays well on the Plaza series. His results are just a bit stronger, and I just think that, you know, he should have won that last match. Like I say, if you go back and watch it, he's managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory in that one.
And I suppose just for those of you that haven't watched that game, you know, it was 24-all. It was a bit of a mammoth battle between the two of them.
But it was even going back before that. So I was watching
it was pretty even all the way. Yeah,
it was. Ryan was 24-22 up. Ernie break dish, so it's 24-23. And then in the next frame, Ryan goes in off the break, and Ernie, with ball in hand, puts the ball at the wrong end of the table.
That was at 24 each.
No, that was 20. So that, yeah, I watched it this morning. So that was at 24-23.
Oh, okay. I thought it was at 24 each.
And then Ryan, because Ernie played a shot with the ball at the wrong end of the table, Ryan gets the finish, and on his second to last ball, the red jumps out the middle pocket.
Right.
Ernie knocks in a good finish to force the decider, and then in the final, Ernie breaks dry. Ryan's on a finish, and he's got a tricky last ball to the middle.
Remember it.
Misses last ball, so we're in a 7v1 scenario. Ernie snookers in, Ryan doesn't get out of it, so Ernie's got ball in hand, takes out the finish, and then he's got a tricky last yellow to the top. So on his second to last yellow, he runs it through and then lands touching the red. Look, Ryan's only ball on the table, and ends up snookering himself. He gets out of it, but then knocks the red over the pocket, and Ryan takes the win.
He knocks Ryan's ball off as well. Ryan's ball's on if I remember rightly, the left-hand side cushion, and I think when he gets out the snooker, he ends up knocking that ball off at the same time, which is sort of good news, bad news, bad news, bad news, consistent throughout as they went. You know, I think that was probably one of the main reasons as to why Ryan then gets that finish.
Yeah. It was just, you know, say from a neutral perspective, the match had everything you wanted to see at the end. It had drama. It had, you know, Ernie, in the heat of the moment, puts the ball at the bloody wrong end of the table, and then just a few shots later, you know, Ryan has Cadbury's parrot out the middle with the match won. And, you know, it was a brilliant atmosphere from memory. You know, it was a good few people. It was a later match at night, so few people had a few drinks. It was starting to get a bit noisy. You know, it really was a great match.
It was probably for a bit more money as well. Once I can't remember the exact pot, but I'm sure it was at 5 or more.
Possibly, yeah.
Which usually tends to mean that you get a bigger crowd because there's more people that have had a bet, and you know, if I remember right, there was quite a few people in there.
Yeah, there were. Yeah.
I think the atmosphere was a bit strained at times. I think it was played in the right spirit, but I think there was a few people there who made the game difficult.
It got slightly naughty towards the end.
And you expect that in these games. You know, you want a little bit of something.
Again, from a neutral, that's what you want to see. Just a little bit of need, or things like these two get on well. There's no need, or there's no animosity between these two. It's just circumstance that brought these two together. From memory, wasn't Ernie meant to be playing? What's that? I can't remember his name. The lady from snooker background, Dan Rathbone. That's it. So wasn't that meant to be the match? Yeah,
I think that was the original match for this day, and then Dan didn't end up playing. So obviously Ryan stepped in.
Do we know the reason for that?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. If Dan's on, I mean, obviously jump in, Dan, and say what it was.
Oh, too thick.
It's criminal, that was.
With such a pocket.
Danny's mic is quiet. I think he just needs to put it a bit closer.
God.
He's gone from being like too close to his mouth to too far away. He's used to having things like that so close to his mouth. Surprised.
Need to find that. Oh, it's started. It's begun. Right. Just need to find that sweet spot. Story of my life. That.
Yeah. What are you taking here? The yellow that's closest to top right. make sure that you're on the yellow. Because I think if you get up
I
that,
think this shot, you know, just play it, not so much a shot to nothing, because I don't think he's got that. That was always in.
Yeah, it's
that was
cued that
nothing
well.
but in that shot. It's a
what
good
you do
start.
need is taking your medicine, pop the yellow, rock onto the black, and then cut the black back, or you're trying to pump it in.
Screw out from here. I'm not keen on that.
I think
I think it's as good as
I'd
he
sooner
could've
take
got,
my.
really,
Well, I
yeah.
think further back you are, the easier this pop becomes. And yeah,
That was actually a lot easier than what it
yeah,
looked.
it was. Yeah, I think sometimes the camera angle on the overhead cameras that are looking down sometimes gets really deceiving.
Very deceiving, yeah. I think, you know, these first 3 frames is a very early indication of what I expected the match to go like.
Yeah.
Ernie's a lot more clinical these days, and you know, Ryan's. I hope I'm not doing a disservice here, but it doesn't strike me as a player who's got much of a B game. He's just A game, all out attack, and if he's not completely firing, this could go sideways very quickly.
Do you know what? So I sort of remember Ryan from a kid. You know, he was one of the young players in here, of the original young players, who was you know, played for England. He did all that as a junior, had lots of stuff, and at that time his game was very much around playing the right shot constantly. You know, and he seems to have gone away from that a little bit now into a bit more of a gung-ho type way of playing.
But I think, you know, the rules as well, the rules changing,
obviously
the rules
that's massive.
very much promote that, doesn't it? You know,
Yeah.
there's very few hiding places in international rules.
That's
you know,
right.
Covering pockets, just not worth doing in the large part. So I think the best thing to do at times is just to go. And I think in a race to 21, you can afford to, you know, okay, I haven't got that one, we'll move on to the next frame. Whereas in wild rules and black ball rules, each frame just carries a little bit more weight in terms of the way you approach the match, approach the frames, approach your shots. The rules do make a difference.
I think that absolutely suits these two players. That thing that you've just spoken about there, the fact that you can lose a frame and sort of, you know that you've got another 20 frames to go. I think that definitely suits the way that these guys play.
Yeah, the frames are almost disposable, for want of a better explanation.
Yeah, he's got to get the black out here.
And he will. And that's the difference with Ernie. It's just that was very controlled, whereas it's so easy just to kind of put a little bit more juice into those shots and, you know, lose your white ball. That was very, very controlled, and, you know, I'm fully expecting this to be oh my days. I was just about to say,
just going to call he's going to miss this. I swear to God, I was just going to say, I feel like this one. I feel like he'd done the work there, and suddenly that becomes the black ball, doesn't it? That was basically the black ball in the frame.
Ball, absolutely. Bit of a nervy one there.
I think Rob's just said, welcome to the chat again, Rob. Just said it could go all the way again. Both seem to be playing well. Could be a dish fest, and I think there's probably a lot of truth in that.
God, Rod Murray, there's a blast from the past.
Yeah, doesn't really play anymore, mate.
It's a lot who are like that though.
Yeah, Paul's dead to him, mate.
Is it?
Yeah, Paul's dead to Rob.
He's all loved up though these days.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's just not long got married, so.
Married?
Ooh, yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
I'd see the day.
I know. You're right, Sean. I think obviously, you know, playing the game the way that I believe the game should be played. You know, get out there, pot the balls. You know, if you don't get them, the other guy does. On you go to the next one. Very much that's how I feel pool should be played.
But again, in a race to 21 and at these rules, like I say, that it's that mentality. It's all, oh my days.
Wow, that's a terrible shot.
That is really
such a terrible shot.
Lazy shot that is.
Yeah. There's so many ways he could play that, and I just feel like he's just got down and hit it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, sometimes, you know, he's a quick player, you know, as is Ernie, and, you know, and myself, you know, quick players, you have to take that extra second.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like sometimes Ryan just doesn't have that extra second in him.
That's what I was alluding to earlier.
Yeah.
It's that little bit of composure, and I think I've always felt Paul is about moments and identifying those moments in a frame, in a match, where you know, okay, I need to just dial in just that little bit more on this.
Yeah.
And I feel that's where Ernie's improved. He just seems to, his match management is just a bit better these days, and I think that will ultimately be the difference in this match.
See, that's like a few times now you've talked about Ernie improving and being good, and I can't have this on this stream all the way through because I don't feel like my psyche will take you talking about Ernie in this kind of manner.
Well, listen, as Lucky has quite rightly pointed out in the chat, you know, Ernie is Telford's number one these days.
I think he's talking to you. I think he was meaning you.
No, he says, come on, Telford number one. He's not
but
cheering me on in commentary.
Like. Possibly, mate. Possibly. I would imagine the best part of this game is going to be the commentary, so... He may well be cheering you
You're
on.
not wrong, and that's why we need some input from the chat. We can't keep talking about Paul for the next sort of 2 or 3 hours, because it's going to be as boring as hell if we're just talking about shots and what
I can't have Danny like keep doing and talking about Ernie the way he is. I can't have that for the rest of the next 4 hours. So
the worst bit about this is I'm near certain that Ernie's going to watch this back. So, we need to stop waxing lyrical about him, keep it to a minimum. Have you noticed how he commands a crowd out there?
Mate, he's like,
everyone is here for him. He's like he's the top dog these days.
Yeah.
Have you noticed?
Yeah.
He's as the teenagers and the new generation would say, he's just got a bit of aura about him, hasn't he?
Yeah. I think for me, obviously, it's I look at it a bit like the child catcher. That's how I sort of see Ernie. Commands the crowd, but maybe not for the right reasons. Hi Harry, good to have you on, mate. I think it'd be a good game. So
Harry Farrell, right?
Yeah.
He's just sniffed it out of the air,
exactly,
isn't he? His little spidey senses have gone
just appeared from nowhere.
I didn't know who Harry Farrell was until I realised that because of him, my kids are eating value beans to this day.
Aldi beans.
Aldi beans, because of him, my kids have gone hungry. So I hope you can sleep at night, Harry.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's just completely irrelevant to this match, and out of nowhere, he's like,
just appears.
Just to come there and mug us off.
Just sniffs the money, and then just appears in the stream.
He'll be one to play him next. I'll play the winner of this. Yeah, I bet
exactly,
you will, mate.
exactly.
I bet you will.
Hi Rob, good to have you on, mate. Hope you're well.
Bloody ruthless, those Tamworth boys.
Yeah.
Rob Adams, he's come on, isn't he, as a player?
Yeah, played Sean. I mean, Sean's in the chat
battered
as
him,
well.
didn't he?
Yeah, battered him. Yeah. To be fair, mate, it was a tough game. Rob's obviously a decent player, and Sean's a great player as well. So probably deserved to be a lot closer than it was. I just think that Rob just got away from him, and sometimes that can happen in these games. I'm not sure of that shot, to be fair.
Yeah, I guess he's chasing it a little bit already here.
Yeah.
Neil Pugh. So, right, it is an interesting thing, right? So, as you know, I'm not allowed to bet on Paul anymore because, in fact, it's the Harry Farrell game. And Ernie said to me, right, look, no joke, I literally can't lose this match. So I even remember saying to my missus, look, Callie, Ernie said he can't lose this match.
Yeah.
So, I'm putting my kids' dinner at risk.
Yeah. Education and
exactly.
everything.
And it's gone. Neil Pugh, to this day, is the only person in Telford who's ever won me money for Paul.
Okay.
So, thank you for your contribution, Neil.
Yeah, well done, Neil. Oh,
this is going south real quick. And he's chasing.
I mean, I could see the shot he's played. He's obviously trying to get that blackout. But for me, I think there's better options to get out than the one they used there.
Climb Snowdon.
Mate, that sounds way too exercised.
I struggle to get to Plaza from where I park the car down the hill, and he's up Snowdon.
Mate, Neil Jones walked in earlier. Honestly, he was soaking wet 'cause it had been raining. He was puffing and panting. You know what I mean? I said, "Where have you come from?" He said, "Across the road." So, even though we're early on in this match, you already feel like there's a couple of big moments coming up, and this may well be one of them. It's another frame that sort of Ryan was in first, had a good chance. Does anyone notice how much Ernie's balding as well when you look at him close there? See that little bald spot on top of his head?
I'm not saying.
Don't know if anybody else is mentioning it, but yeah, just point out there. If he's going to watch this back, I want him to know. I want him to think that he's got a full head of hair.
Can you imagine what Ernie would look like if he just had a fringe?
Go on.
What?
What would he look like?
I said, can you imagine what he looked like if he just had a fringe? Like?
I thought you said, do you know who he'd look like? I thought you got some kind of person in mind.
What do you reckon he's doing here? Do you reckon he's playing for a double somewhere?
Yeah. This is awkward now,
He's either he's not
taking
spinning
the bottom
around.
one.
He's not spinning around the back, is he? Oh, he is, but I didn't
He's
like
enough.
that shot.
He's enough. Wow.
Do you know what, Lee? I think you're always going to get there with these two. They play so fast and loose that there's plenty of this in there.
Yeah. I mean, for Ryan, he's had a couple of chances. I feel like he's too straight on this.
Yeah, it's
a bit more angle than that.
Absolutely horrid.
Oh, he's pumped it in. He's gone too far, actually. There you go. No, he just dropped it into black long, can't he? So, another shout there from Rob, going for Ernie this time.
That's where I'm at. I think I'm the same as Rob there. I think just only by 5-ish. But if they keep playing like this, it could be any score. Genuinely could. I can't help but feel. I know I keep milking it. I can't help but feel that Ernie has the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's obviously an opinion. I think the Telford guys, as you mentioned earlier, see a lot of Ernie play, and obviously know how good he is, know how much he wins and how much he plays really over in Telford.
I think that's the key there, Lee. I think, as you said, you don't recall Ryan practicing much for this match.
No.
Ernie,
Not to say he hasn't. I just don't know.
But you can almost guarantee that Ernie's been on the table more than the cloth for this match. Not practicing for this just because he loves Paul to such a degree, but he'd have put in the hours for this, and he's confident. I spoke to him. Exchanged a few messages this morning, and he's confident for this. When you come into these matches, you want to come here knowing that you've done everything you can. You've done your practice. You're not leaving. That's horrid. You're not leaving anything to chance. You come here, you put in the hours, and what will be at that point. That is what would make a. He's been unlucky a couple of times there. Can he? Does that go to the top right? Does it?
I'm going to pick you up on that. I'm not sure he's been unlucky there, mate. I think he's played a couple of really poor shots.
He's been a bit unlucky, though, to land touching that yellow, to not see the one into the corner.
He has, but he's played a couple of bad shots to be where he was. And I think sometimes you just have to... Must have been touching.
Gone mad. I can only assume that yellow didn't go to the top right, because if it did, you'd be playing that.
Yeah, it was tough on the one. It was tough on queuing over the top of that ball. This will tell you where Ryan is, really. Yeah.
Good lord.
Ned didn't fancy him for it at all, to be honest. I don't know why.
Didn't Harry play Ryan at one point after Ernie had lost? Did that happen, or have I imagined that?
Yeah. So
Harry won, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Harry was just put there if Ryan buzzes, he wins. There was probably a spell in that game. Harry got off to a good start, got a lead, and then just after the break, or just before the break, I can't remember exactly what point it was, Ryan arguably played probably 10 of the best frames I've ever seen.
He hit a gear.
And he was absolutely brilliant for about 10, 11 frames, and then I think he went, can't remember the number, probably like 4 or 5 frames up on Harry, and then Harry came back and Ryan leaned back into, similar to what you've just been talking about there, saying, that he's, got that shot that he probably plays the wrong shot at some point. So I think a little bit of that happened, and all of a sudden Harry chipped away and went on to win the game. So it was a good game to watch. There was some very good pool in it.
I just think, we're 5 frames in, well, this is the 6th frame. We've probably already seen at least 5 unforced errors in this match already, which is testament to how they both play. I just feel the difference will be whoever makes less of those rather than who's going to go on a huge dishing spree.
Yeah. Do you know what I've noticed so far? I mean, at the start of this stream, I sort of said, I don't think the balls break well on this table. So far, the breaks have been really good, but there hasn't been many 8 balls. So that in itself sort of tells you that at some point that's going to trigger, and they are going to start getting, finish after finish. Oof, I thought he'd missed that.
Right, Jason Busby in the chat, we need to bookmark that comment for
later.
I'll write that one down, Lee. We'll get back to Jason on that one later on. I'll have that pinned. Well, we're quite lucky in the sense that we've both got a good understanding of these players. We both know them quite well. I haven't played in Stoke now for God.
Break
10 years ago.
Unmissable again, these.
So I haven't seen Ryan play lately, other than Money Match on stream, Plaza Tour. We know he's capable. Yeah. What are you saying about the break? They're breaking lovely.
I know, mate.
Other than that one slap
genuinely, I can't believe what's going on. Maybe it's just my break. Maybe it's that more so than the table itself.
You still find it hard to get games in this sort of format, don't you? I think just because your history in Stoke, there are not many who would fancy a go. I know you and me have spoken in the past of you having almost like an exhibition game, haven't you, against someone like Renault or Fallows and stuff, but they're just not present in this sort of scene anymore.
No, I think for me, mate, I mean, I've obviously on the lead up, I'm good friends with Wayne, and Gaz and so forth. Well, what is that? What is that?
Yeah, just for me, I'll be coming twice across, getting a bit closer to my work, maybe.
I don't understand what he's done there. So I've had a few sessions with Wayne and Gaz and so forth, and I played the first 15 against Wayne yesterday. Oh, mate, it's the longest 42 minutes of my life, genuinely. Just the thought of playing like first to 21 for a money game just kills me inside at the moment.
And I think you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry for it. or just daft, I
Yeah.
think. And, you know, for me, yeah, it just doesn't do it for me, whereas Ernie kind of lives for this sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
It's all about picking the right games as well. You know,
Absolutely.
when all said and done, mate, my philosophy on money games has always been the same. I want to be 60-40 favourites in an even money
Yeah.
game. That's how I've
Absolutely.
always, and I've got a good record because of that. You know, Ernie.
And I think if you're patient, you can get those
Yeah,
games.
exactly. And the fact that I'm rubbish, that helps to get a 60-40 game. So
But it doesn't help with your reputation around here. You know, you're just not going to get those games. You're never going to get those games unless it's for, like, you know, some nominal throwaway amount. And then it kind of takes the complete point out of it to a
well,
degree,
the
doesn't
thing
it?
is, I won't play for a nominal amount either. That's the thing. If I'm going to play, I'm going to practice, and I'm not going to practice for £100.
Yeah.
You know. So that's the other issue I have. If I want to play, I want to play for a decent sized pot. If I play for a decent sized pot, I want to practice. And at the moment, the thought of doing that just
Yeah.
sort of again a big moment here.
It is, but, you know, I like the way he's cued that, but it's just
The
dead,
red doesn't
isn't
go
it?
anywhere, does it?
Ryan Cope.
Yeah,
Was it
it's
Ryan
Mr.
who
K.
was on commentary with you the other night,
Yeah.
wasn't he? I really enjoyed that.
Don't mention his last game when I played him in the singles mates final, mate.
Mate,
'cause
right,
he
listen,
dined
right.
out on this, mate, on that last commentary
Yeah,
for
and
about
do you know
2
what,
hours,
right,
mate.
and
I
rightly
can't
so.
cope with another Ryan Cope licky session off you.
I don't know, right, if Ryan knows this, but so Ryan, you know, you was in a singles final before that, weren't you? Weren't you in something daft, like 3 singles finals in a month or something
Yeah.
daft? So you'd already lost one to Adam, I think. And then, no exaggeration, Ryan, he says, look, to me and Lewis, like,
This is
lads,
going to be rubbish, by the way, Ryan. Whatever he says next is going to be
Honestly,
rubbish.
he says, like, you know, what are you up to, lads? To me and Lewis at weekend, no, nothing. He says, listen, come on over, right? I can't lose this match, and then we'll go out after. So me and Lewis have rocked up in a room full of people. We've got, you know, we're in the middle of bandit country, don't know anybody. We walk in, you know, you get those scenes where, like, you walk into a saloon and the
Jukebox
the
goes
jukebox
off
scratches
and
and everyone stops and looks around. That kind of thing happened. We missed the start of your match.
Yeah.
And then,
It's not
you
a
know,
bad
just honestly, it was like,
Oh, what a shot.
oh, wow.
What a shot that was.
Watching you in that final was like watching your family pet get run over in slow motion. It was like, honestly, and I kept saying to Lou, he did say he couldn't lose this, didn't he? And he's like, mate, I don't know.
Do you know what the ironic part of this is? Obviously, I didn't say that, but the ironic part is I could have said that.
I'm
Do you
sure
know what I
you
mean?
did.
Because Ryan can't beat me.
I'm sure
you know.
but he didn't beat you.
No. Let's just stick with
He-
where we were. Ryan can't
He
beat me.
wore you like a hat. Like,
Mate, it was the most. I reckon it was the most painful 45 minutes of my pool playing career, and I've had some pain in that career. You know, genuinely.
do you feel like you hit rock bottom there?
If Ryan wasn't as nice a lad as he was, like I remember Ryan, he's a nice lad now. He used to be an absolute. I can't even tell you what he used
I've
to be
heard
like.
these stories
He
actually.
used to be terrible, but
heard
now
that.
he's a nice lad. So it's a lot. It was a lot more bearable because of that.
And do you know what? He was very, very gracious not in victory, wasn't he? Me, I'd be climbing the walls. I'd be doing all sorts of daft things.
Yeah.
But he was very, very, and I think that's because he knew he was going to win.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so. He won 2 merits that season. He won the
He's beat Lee Whitfield from Wish.
he won the Thursday one, and then he also won the Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday merits, or can't remember which merits it was, but he won 2 of them anyway.
In the same year.
In the same year, yeah.
Results speak for themselves, mate. That, you know, in years gone by, when we're all like on bordering senile, that name will be on the trophy. The
Yeah.
records will state that that year Ryan was the man, and that's all that matters.
But then again, does everyone always save trophies? You know, I mean, that's the thing. I remember you had a trophy.
I remember that over the years I've given my trophies away and car boots and charity and all that jazz, and I had one trophy that meant something to me, and you threw it out.
Yeah.
And hasn't been the same since, really, is it? Things have always been awkward between us since then, haven't they?
There we go. Merits Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday one. He doesn't like talking
Some
about it.
going that is.
Yeah. But to be fair, though, mate, I mean, I watched him in the semi-final and won the merits here the other day. It was the most worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Isn't there talk of Ryan playing Lewis at some stage?
Yes, there certainly is.
So that's another Telford v
Here we
Stoke
go.
encounter that
Look
we all
at
want
them
to see.
below themselves here in the chat. We could just put a VS in between them two now.
Exactly, as if by magic
Yeah.
it appears. Lewis Turner skulking around. Do you know what Lewis is actually in Italy at his mate's wedding right now?
Yeah.
And there he is, tuning in. That's some commitment, that is.
Yeah, you can tell he's obviously in Italy at some kind of wedding because he's best man.
That's Welsh. It's Welsh.
Is that
for
Welsh?
mates.
Welsh
Yeah.
for mates, yeah.
I don't think Lewis has got it in him to play Ryan.
No,
Especially now that he's read that Ryan's winning merits titles like there's no tomorrow.
I'm not sure who's got the biggest guns either. Could be a bit of a gun off.
Almost
maybe.
certainly Ryan. Oh my days.
Oop. So 5-3. I know we're not talking much about the pool. So hopefully you guys are watching some of this. I think again Ryan had a bit of a chance in that frame there. Probably played a bit of a poor shot. Ernie took advantage and so they went 5-3 up.
I'm just, I got completely sidetracked there just looking at Ernie's trainers. I don't know if he's going to knock in this finish or do a park run. Like,
Hey, he's never seen a park run.
Red's the order of the day here. If he can pop that red in the top left and somehow get onto that red to the right middle, they're gone.
Just there. The only run in he's
Just like
seen
that.
is when he's had a Vindaloo, mate. It's the only run in he's ever seen.
Wow. Good evening, Matty Pooler. One of the loveliest guys in Telford. Aid Cowsall, another lovely
Yeah.
chap out there.
Yeah.
Evening, mate.
He was in the chat earlier when we were discussing the quality of his work, because he should be working now. I don't know why he's here. Oh, sorry.
Sean's
Sean.
all about the pool, isn't
Exactly.
he?
Just
Honestly,
taking me straight back to
mate,
school there.
you
Let me
should-
tell you, there wasn't a chance missed. He took it out an 8-ball. He's probably writing it down in one of his manuals somewhere, talking about the way they went about it and stuff.
He used to be a right laugh, Sean.
He
did.
mate,
He
it's
didn't
just,
he?
yeah, now, not so much. You know, still a lovely guy. You know, I think earlier when he was in the chat, I think I deemed him the second best guy I knew. You know, and obviously I had to put Neil there because he was sat next to me. So he sort of forced me to do it.
This is where these camera angles are a bit deceiving as to.
Oh, don't like
So
that.
I always felt that he had to take that red when he had ball in hand after the break.
There's
He
more
had a
room than you
big-
think.
He had
There's
a
more
big
room
gap
than you
to
think
go
there,
for,
isn't there?
but I don't mind this so much.
He's
Leave
screwing all
yourself
the
on,
cushion
on
here.
the cushion, yeah, perfect.
I don't know. Obviously, the harder you play this now, the more it straightens up, the more chance you've got of going into the yellow. I think he just missed it, but it's close.
It comes through, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's fine.
It's a really nice finish this from Ernie.
Yeah. Just get a shot on this now.
I'm going 2 cushions, I think. Top it through.
Yeah.
Bottom right.
Just sort of targeting the blue spot, but just falling short of it. He's screwing
He's
it in.
screwing across.
Yeah. Ooh, he's okay. He's
Yeah,
okay.
it's fine, that.
Looks tight past that, but I don't think it is because he hasn't really looked. Oh, as he goes round and looks at it.
Yeah. We haven't been going long, and he's looking at a free frame advantage already
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
it
good,
flew
good
by,
pass.
didn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure, guys. I didn't ask Adam. I'll probably try and drop a message him in to find out exactly when they're going to take a break in this game.
You'd imagine after 20 frames, wouldn't you?
Possibly, yeah. They were doing 14 frames on the games earlier, but that made sense because they went to 15.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for it to be 20.
So what's next in the pool world for you, Lenley?
For me?
Yep.
Nothing, mate. Nothing. We've got a game on Thursday to determine whether we manage to get third in the league. So that's always a quality game to have. Tuesday, we pretty much finished second in that league. Again, we haven't lost that league for probably don't know how many years. Quite a lot of years. We managed to mess that up this year. So we've done well there. Won a cup. I think Adam and Keir are in the doubles merit final. None of us are in the singles merit, which is again pretty much unheard of, really. But yeah, it's not been a great year for team pool.
What's pool like in Stoke these days? It's been, like I say, it's been a long time since I played around here, but back then it was brilliant.
So we have a couple of leagues on a Tuesday. We have the Ford League and we have the Trent Trophies League. And I've always played a Ford, so I've never really played in the Trent Trophies. That's the one that Ryan was referring to earlier. So yeah, the standard's decent. The Ford League, there's probably 2 or 3 really good sides, but then throughout the other teams, there's so many good players now that you're not always guaranteed to win these matches. I think when we sort of played way back when, and we sort of had that bit of a team that we played from the Manor, and then before that the Loco. Me, you, and Adam played at home. We didn't really lose many games.
Joe, just back to the match here. I like what Early's doing here. This is the first example of him just taking
A few seconds.
an extra couple of moments just to figure this one out. Not like this is a critical part of the match, but he's just, it's good to see that from him. He's taken his time. He's picked his shot. And, so far, so good. This looks to be a relatively straightforward finish.
Yeah.
What way are you going here, Lee?
I'm taking the one into the middle now that he's on, so the right hand ball of the three. Hopefully screwing past and taking the other one the same bag. See, I don't like leaving that ball up there for last, because that's what it's going to have to be now, isn't it?
He's got to navigate these two to the middle.
I think you drop the one now and then take the yellow into the bottom right hand corner. You can drop it dead weight. But the issue then is you've then got to get from either one of those balls down.
Do you know what? I hadn't even thought. I was just naturally assuming that yellow's got to go back into the middle. But
No,
of
no,
course
it
it
goes
does go to the bottom right,
yeah.
doesn't it? So left middle, bottom right, top right.
I'm not a lover of that, to be honest.
I like your finish there because that yellow goes to the top right. So
yeah, exactly.
Just, they all had a pocket. He's got away with one there.
He has, but now you really haven't got a lot of control over this wide, have you? Because you're queuing over. Needs to watch that gut. Told me earlier he'd stopped drinking and lost a load of weight, but I'm not convinced. And now it's just started to unravel a little bit.
I just can't help but feel that he's going to get on this somehow.
Yeah, it probably just goes. To be fair, let's have a look at a couple of these comments in the chat, because there seems to be some rubbish being spoken. So,
just when the conversation is including Ryan and Lewis, it's never going to be like
exactly
normal.
Oh, it's played one there. Well, other than the pot. Okay, so let's have a look. Lee, have you retired from pool because your wife's put her foot down? Well, the answer is no, because I wear the trousers. Ash, welcome to the stream, mate. Been watching any Last Man Standing comp in the Ultimate Pool? No, we've been here all day watching.
I didn't even know that was on.
Yeah.
Is that kind of one?
It's been played at Red Hill, I think. The one
Spots and Stripes.
Yeah, Mike Lopes club, I think, isn't it?
Him and Nigel Smith, I think.
Yeah. Ernie's a calculated assassin. I've heard you call him some things, never a calculated assassin.
Yeah, Lewis just showing off now, isn't he? I think at that point he's just saying like random words that comes into his
head. Yeah. He's just trying to, probably
stay relevant because he's showing off because Ryan's in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. Spellcheck obviously took a bit of a battering with that as well. So, Ryan, I think it was your team that won the Thursday League. Well done, mate. Good that you guys have won this one time. So well done, mate. I'm not bitter.
He's mentioned that, but he doesn't like to talk about it.
Yeah. Your new dancing partner hasn't been called out
yet. Do you know
what?
Been
a bit of standard so far.
He raises a good point there. You and Zach are tight these days, aren't you? Isn't that right that you'll be playing on the telly soon?
What has he played there? That's a great shot. I've never played that.
It was great, but it's just ridiculous. But,
I mean, he got a good white. I think his plan was to get further and leave it snookered.
Hang on,
he's got to now clip off the one on the rail and come back to the other
Let's
side
not change
rail.
the subject. Let's talk about you and Zach Shepherd in
the pool,
Ultimate Pool doubles. Is that right?
It is.
And when's that you're playing? Talk us through
the 23rd of June, mate.
Oh, so soon then?
On TNT Sports.
Oh, very good.
If you haven't got a subscription, please go and get that just so you can watch me, because it could be embarrassing.
Well, Ernie and Mikey
correct
are on there as well. So.
Oh my God, that's a terrible shot.
He's left the cushion, isn't he?
What is that? Even if you get the snooker, who cares?
I think you've got to play a snooker there, haven't you? Like,
yeah, but you clip off it and go to the side rail.
It isn't even a good one. Look.
No. And you've also put your red safe.
Yeah.
So
it was
just such my shot. I was clipping the one off the rail, putting the white over on the right hand side. My balls were then all open. Now he's just made an absolute mess of this, and he's got no shot.
So much. Like he's in all sorts of bother here. And these are those kind of 5 or 6 against 1 situations where you have to make sure of it.
I'm going to disagree. For me here, you need to get the snooker first off, which is quite easy really, because you can clip off the one and also play the pot at the same time, the one that's closest to pink spot. Clip off that, come to this side rail, but you're looking for the turnover shot. Because the black's gone safe, I don't know what he's doing here.
Well, this shot. Oh, fair play, he's cued it.
So now you pot the one in the middle, go up, play the turnover shot, what is this, Rye?
Just
Not
covering the black,
convinced.
isn't he?
Yeah, but
There's no value to it.
what is that? Like, that's just...
Do you know what?
I'm sorry.
I don't
Sorry.
mind that.
What, it's
I
a
don't
one
mind
cushion
that at all.
escape, mate. It's a one cushion escape to put a ball over a bag. What's he doing? You should be playing the turnover shot. Put that ball in the middle, go up, put the red onto the yellow, the one that's on the green spot. Bring the white back down here, he's got no shot.
I just like, I've seen a treble there.
I just think that was such a strange way to play that. I think you check this back up here.
Yeah,
Mainly,
yeah.
you have to check it.
He's got a big target. He's got it.
It's
Yeah.
just criminal, mate. Just criminal.
He still needs to get out of it though. He still needs to hit it, you know. So
He does, but let's be honest. You know, you expect Ernie, or a player of Ernie's ability, to get that probably 7 out of 10.
well, even if he hits it and doesn't pot it, you know, Ryan's still in a world of bother at that point.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
It's just as though like he'd done with the frame. You know, the shot he played, I don't even mind if he gets the bag. You know, or gets the black.
It was the one before it, wasn't it? The poor snooker, the shot
Yeah.
before has enabled him to get that yellow over the
Yeah,
pocket.
yeah.
And all the time that yellow's over the pocket with the black where it is.
But in these rules, it's not always that much of an advantage, is it? You know, when all said and done, he had that turnover shot. The black was on the cushion. That in your mind, when you're looking at that table, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for, how can I pot that yellow and get the white away from that black?
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
how it is.
I think, you know, Ryan's already in a position now where he's playing this shot thinking, right, I just need to get the right colour rather than playing something
Yeah.
with authority. That's it. I think he's going for the wrong
This is
yellow
a
here.
black ball as well for me. Yeah, good
He's
shot.
cued that well. He's got
Yeah, it's-
through that nicely, actually. Jimmy Gower. Texted me the other day, he did.
Did he?
Yeah, after Palace won the FA Cup, I think it was.
Yeah. He's a lovely guy, Jim.
Yeah.
Hi, Jim. You okay? Good to have you on, mate.
Still makes me laugh, that photo from Yarmouth, man.
Yeah, that's the best photo ever, isn't it? For those of you in the chat that don't know what photo we're talking about, we were playing down Yarmouth, and it had been a bit of a mammoth sort of session, and we had this photo after Jimmy lost a 45-minute frame from a position that he could never lose a frame, and we've got him sat on a stage, basically head in hands. It's one of the best photos you've ever
verging
seen.
on tears, wasn't
Yeah,
it? I've
it
never
was-
seen any human
yeah.
being look that sad before.
Yeah,
ever.
it was impossible. I mean, like I say, I don't know which story is the worst one. That one or the one where he was that smashed when he was in the arena and he was like on his phone and whilst he was reffing. Bearing in mind that Yarmouth, you can't really do anything like that. And a referee came up to him and he just looked at him like he'd just come off his shoe or something. One of those two stories are one of my most favourite ones.
Some great times down there, weren't there?
Yeah.
What do you do here, man?
I clear him up.
But it's easier said than done when you're 7-3 down, and you know, just judging
Mate,
by the way he's
He
taking
just jacks
this, he's
up
not
here.
optimal.
You can pot the yellow and stun down and take the yellow into the middle next.
But then it's just trickier to get back
Yeah,
onto
I
that
agree.
yellow too, because you know,
I agree.
tough.
Yeah, Sean, I mean, I can see your comment now. The fact that I hate Danny, he's done some things to me in the past. You know, one of which being, you know, giving me
Yeah, just
he's de-accelerates on that. But you know what? He's got a shot here now. He can clip this yellow in next to the black and go
Jesus,
straight into
yeah,
the red.
Yeah, you made that sound really straightwood. You know, there are balls flying.
Can't miss that. You know, he's going
absolutely
straight into the red.
everywhere. He's going for the pot.
Oh, I'm never playing
No,
this.
I think this is the right shot.
Do you reckon?
It's got more value than trimming that yellow and hoping for the best. He's cued that lovely.
No, he's not anything.
Well, like I say, he's cued it lovely.
Well, great.
We won't talk about the next bit, but just already he's chasing this match, isn't he? It's
Yeah,
worrying signs already for
it is.
Ryan.
I mean, let's be honest now. Look at that shot he's just played. Where's he going to get the white to be on the next yellow?
By the blue spot, I think he's looking for. He's looking for the blue spot to play the yellow
But
to
he
the
never
top
played
right.
any side on it, so he could never be by the blue spot. If
Just
you look at
underhit
the
it.
natural line, yeah, but he's coming across towards the pink spot. You know, because the
Oh,
natural
did
line
I say
takes
blue
you-
spot?
Yeah, you said blue
I
spot.
meant pink spot. Sorry.
Yeah. So, and then even then, does the yellow go past the black? I
Yeah,
assume
does,
it
yeah.
must.
It does, yeah.
But you've got to get past the pink spot to be able to pot the yellow.
Yeah.
And then you probably, you know,
What's he
that's
doing
it.
here? Is he trying to cut this back
Play
in
the
middle?
double. Play the double. Do you know what? He was on his way.
I think that was yellow first. Yeah, it was yellow first.
Yeah, I was wondering whether the yellow's actually going in. Don't know if I caught it in time. Yeah, yellow was definitely on its way.
I'm not sure it had its pace. Does that replay again?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it had got there.
It gets
would have done,
definitely, definitely. Yeah, it's unlucky there. Well, I say unlucky. It was a poor shot the one before, so can't really say it was too unlucky.
He's just got to mind his work here. You know, you need to get to that one on the left-hand cushion
Yeah.
sooner rather than later. But
Yeah, just making it very easy for Ernie at the moment.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, the one thing you want to do is make frames difficult to win if you don't get them. And at the moment, Ryan's not doing that. And arguably, these two players that is probably a weakness of them, if you would say anything. Oh my God.
Oh, Lord.
I would say that's probably one of the weaknesses of these two players. For as good as potters they are and as good as finishers they are getting finishes when they go for them, making it difficult for the next person isn't something that they have in their mind at all. Oh, I've missed that by a country. How do you fancy this one for your wages every week?
I'm 100% tweaking this.
Get
I'm
this,
not hitting a rail.
top it through.
The yellow goes about 3 inches. White doesn't hit a cushion. Oh. He just felt like he needed that, didn't he?
I'm just taking my medicine there, mate, to be honest. I'm not trying to get that good on that black. I think it was a difficult enough pot. Oh my God. He's had a result there.
There's a shock. Okay, so put that on the Ernie putting your hand up counter. So there's one.
We'll get a chitty going of that one. So that's one so far.
What's the what's the spread on that at the minute?
What's the SP? I reckon anywhere from 9 to 12.
Yeah, definitely.
Played a good shot there. What's your shot here?
I don't know. I hate these shots. Just hate them. Hate everything about them.
If the red misses the red, you can quite easily dink him in behind it. But I think it doesn't.
Miss the red,
So
I find these shots awful. Even if he leaves him near the jaws, I think does it still cut? I think he's just got to leave him on the left-hand side. And
do you know why he's played it? Oh, I was going to say he's played a good shot, but I think he might have just left it.
Leaving it on the left-hand cushion just gives you a sniff, doesn't it?
Yeah. Some movement in that body then as well. He's had a result here, you know. Deal.
It went in all 6 pockets, but yeah, it could have been a lot harder.
He potted it thick, didn't he? In fairness, he nearly missed the pot. You know, that's why he ended up there. If he catches it thinner, he's off that top rail and back down.
So it's only to break.
7-4. What are your thoughts so far?
I think Ryan takes it at this point. You know, Ryan's got off to quite an average start, and you know this could easily be, you know, 8-3, 9-2 at this point.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it's gone as how I thought it would. There's still a lot of pool to be played in this, of course. I just feel like Ryan needs to string a couple of frames together and stay in this. I just don't think, you know, like I say, I probably am a bit biased. I just think he's just got that a little bit too much for Ryan, who's come up dry there.
Oh, them yellows have gone. No, he's not dry. He's potted the yellow.
And you can see that yellow to the top right first.
Oh, isn't dry.
Oh, okay. Wow.
The under red. It's potted 2 balls, mate. Good eye though. I'm on my phone and still my note says potted 2 balls.
Yeah, but you love pool a lot more than I do.
I was just trying to have a look at the current score
between Sai and Ammo. It's like 1-1.
So ironically, this game started the same time as the Sai and the Ammo game.
So we're in frame 12,
and the current score in the Ammo Simon Yates game is 2-2. and to be fair, I was surprised it was 2-2.
Yeah, what's that race to? 15.
Race to 15. I would imagine this game will be done. These guys will be in bed drinking Horlicks and eating cookies by the time those guys are somewhere close to the end of that one.
Your accent came out a bit there.
Did it?
Cookies. What's he done here?
Oh my God!
Jesus wept. That's so poor. God.
You just can be anywhere there, can't you? You just got to play that with some running side just to make sure you're getting away from that red. You know, just make the red irrelevant there.
Do you know, this whole time I thought that was Ryan on that finish. That's how
you did say Ryan. You did say Ryan at the start.
I thought it was Ryan the whole time.
I didn't correct you because, like I say, I could start a chitty sheet for that, and I'd just never be never be off writing things in there. Well, feels like a musker. You know, as silly as it seems here, you know, if Ryan gets to this finish now and he ends up 7-5, he's got to feel the better out of the two of them.
Absolutely. Good evening, Alan. One of the nice guys over my way.
How come everybody's a nice guy, mate, and everyone I meet from Telford isn't a nice guy? So what's going on? Do I just know a bad bunch?
Yeah, you just got in with the wrong crowd.
Yeah. Okay. Just double checking. Think that red goes in the middle?
Yes, but yeah, it does. Yeah.
Seems like
You just got to make sure it's not his last ball. I'd be trying to get on that now. Oh, we couldn't have done.
Oh, it's a terrible shot.
Yeah, he's straight. I just hate it.
Are you just potting this now and then taking the one in the middle next and then cutting the other one back? Don't think he's going to do that. I think he's taking that one. You know what? I don't think he did go. He did look at that, actually. I was going to say he looked at the split to get it off the cushion.
What are your thoughts here of
I'm
potting this half ball and nudging into the black?
100%,
and just nudging up near the corner?
100%.
Or actually do this is probably better.
No, I like our shot. I don't think this is guaranteed.
Just nudge it up a little bit. Like saying that he can come thin and black to the same pocket, I'd expect. He's looking at it to the top corner, but for me, I'm probably trying to play the black into the same pocket.
Oh, he's played that well. That makes sense, Alan. I get that now. Obviously from Shrewsbury, that makes a lot more sense to me.
I was going to mention that he's not from Telford.
There's no other nice people in Shrewsbury, though, is there?
If he was, he'd be probably a bit more of a cretin, like.
Yeah.
But no, he's a lovely guy.
There's no other nice people in Shrewsbury, though, is there? Not on this stream, anyway.
No, very few. Very few. Can't think of any actually.
No, nor me.
Pete Williams. Well, I think he's probably more Telford these days.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of any really. Okay, so 7-5, and I think Ernie's going to be sitting there thinking at this point, like, how is it actually this close?
It's a great distances, mate. If he gets a ball here, these are gone.
So is this Ryan? Is this?
Yeah, this is Ryan. So what happens is, right?
It's gone. Don't say it.
No. What happens is
just showing off.
So
now.
They have a lag at the start. Someone wins the lag.
You're going to tell me that they take it in turns, aren't you?
And somebody breaks, and then the next go, the other person breaks. Yeah, it's like some kind of witchcraft, I know, but that's what happens.
Okay, right. So this is a question for the chat, right? So I've always liked the idea of a competition format, winner breaks.
Yeah.
And this is something that Ernie and I have spoken about over the years, and he's absolutely against it. That's a great shot.
Okay.
But I just love the idea of winner breaks, you know, because, you know, you lag, so there's an element of skill to it, and then, you know, two goes first.
Yeah. I'm with you. I like it. What are you thinking? Obviously, there's a couple of comps that run in Telford, and there's already some, not revolutionary ideas that happen in those comps, but it sort of make them in a way that makes the comps finish at certain points in time, makes the matches finish at certain points in time. I think winner breaks could just be another element to. Oh, he's okay.
Yeah, I like this.
Another element to that.
This is where Ernie and I differ, because, you know, Ernie's the one who runs all the competitions in Telford these days, and, you know,
Just want to say I called that.
What? The
break dish. You know, it's like the pool gods there have just come. Pool gods have just come there and just punished Ernie, and that's what happens in these matches.
Well, I've always said, you know, Paul punishes you twice.
Yeah.
You know, you make a mistake, and how often do you see that? The other one is when you pot the black off the break, and the white goes in. And all that sort of
always
jazz.
try next go.
That's a brilliant thing about these rules. I play quite a bit of black ball these days, and the amount of times where your opponent will pot the black or pot the white and the black goes in, and then they'll go and break dish the next one. The best rule I think they've come up with in a long time is that one where the black comes back up off the break if you pot it. Brilliant rule.
I think there's a few rules that can sort of be amalgamated between Black Ball rules, international rules, even world rules to a degree, but mainly those two. The break rule, I think they could probably change it slightly into a bit more of a Black Ball rule where you could play the cannon, you play red onto yellow and be whatever you pot. I think that would really open it up. The only thing you've got to be careful of is just making it too open. It's already as open as pool's ever been. You know, you start adding some of those additional, you know, rule sets. Niceties in there, and before you know where you are, the game is just so easy.
Isn't that what they were trying with those rules, though? Those rules are designed to just be complete all-out attack. I think they should just go the whole 9 yards and do it. and just turn it into like the Wild West.
Yeah, I think a couple of rules that you need to look at is the fact that you can't put your last ball on the black, so you get yourself in that position where someone's got a black over a hole,
Yeah, I love that.
and they've got a ball close to it. You know, it would at least allow you, because in international rules at the moment you can't win that frame. The only thing you can do is drop it on top and hopefully get a re-rack. What they should be able to do is give you the chance just to give it to Wally. You know, just give it to smash around the table, knowing you potted the black, and if your ball goes in, great, you win the frame. So that is one of the rules that I think at some point probably could and maybe should be looked at.
The
Played a
cannon
good shot
off the
there.
break, the
Played a great shot there.
yeah, he has as well. Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. I had identified that, and you know, as I was talking, I did feel that that was the path we were going down. So it's nice to see a man of your stature noticing that. So thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in.
Are you taking confidence from Ryan?
Why wouldn't I?
Wow.
Why
Wow.
wouldn't
The things you say about him as well. That's
I
just
always
mental.
remember, like my first interaction with Ryan before I knew Ryan, and I'd come over for the Staffordshire Open when the Staffs Open used to be a really big thing back in the day, and I drew.
Did you win that, Ryan? Oh no. So carry on, yeah.
I drew Ryan in the first round, and he made a real snarky comment because I was chalking my cue too much. And in fairness, I probably was.
This is why I say, people have this nice opinion of Ryan. I remember the old Ryan. Let's not forget that old Ryan every now and again.
Does that yellow go to the right middle?
No. He's dropping it in and taking it in this bottom left-hand corner.
Okay.
Or at least aiming to.
Yeah, he's played that well.
Yeah, he's played a good shot there.
Yeah, he moaned because I was chalking my cue too much.
Yeah, see, I remember this Ryan, mate.
Is he mellowed out in his twilight years?
Oh, it's a great shot.
Great finish, that is.
Yeah, it's a good finish.
Been a good couple of frames.
He's mellowed out with certain people. Sometimes he still gets a bit narky and still, probably lets himself down a little bit occasionally. But overall,
he's still a bit of a nightmare. Like,
yeah, can be, mate. Can be. I mean, are we still on the stream? I don't know.
I don't know.
Can people hear? Yeah, mate. He can be a nightmare, but a lovely nightmare.
Yeah,
that's the best way of explaining it.
Comes from a place of love.
Yeah, comes from a love of place. Yeah.
I think we got a bit of a game on our hands here now. Like, hasn't been.
It's heating up, and
it hasn't been a classic so far. But we're 8-6. We've still got a match on our hands. Couple of dishes.
Do you know what? I reckon
break
in the chat.
Reds. Anyone? Reds. Warning.
I reckon in the chat, people are like thinking, "What a great game this has been." And me and you are just whittering away here. It's probably been the best game ever, but we haven't watched any of it.
Yeah, well,
that's probably the problem.
He's played the wrong ball there for me.
No, it's definitely the ball.
I think just if he popped that
middle
one
now,
that's just below the yellows at the minute in the middle, you've got to navigate those two to the top right.
Middle now.
I just don't like this.
Why?
That's smelly for a start.
Are you watching a different game than me?
Oh, he
wasn't just
he
screwing
just
past
screw
it.
this in the middle, can't he? And yeah,
it was horrible.
Ignore me.
That made me feel dirty how bad that shot was.
I think that just for me, right, that shows a lot where I am and where my game is. I automatically look for what's going to go wrong.
The negatives.
Yeah, just look for where it's going to go wrong rather than how am I get. He's taking the wrong ball.
Yeah, he's taking the wrong ball there. Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's such a bad shot. I think he's okay, but he was never the right shot.
It's not okay.
He screw off the cushion, mate.
He hits that red.
What?
Do you know what? He's taken these. I thought he would go into the red. He's taken these. It's not the textbook route. Haji.
I'm never playing that cannon there.
Ethan, I think he had a little laugh to himself there.
Yeah.
Haji joining us from the Bahamas. Mate, some guy, what a life he lives.
Haji, good to have you on board, mate. Always a pleasure to have some nice guys from Telford in the chat. So
tell you what,
welcome, mate.
You talk about some of the best players Telford have ever had. He's certainly one of them.
Yeah.
Before he went back to Cyprus, no one could get anywhere near him. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I think for Haji, mate, obviously a lot of the comps I went in down in Telford, he never really tended to go in them because he was working for other various reasons. So I never really got to see him, but I know that everybody in Telford talks, really highly of him.
Honestly.
Played for Cyprus, was it?
Yeah.
Played for Cyprus for a number of years as well. So
it's a right handful. Before, like I say, before he moved away, he was honestly a real handful. But there have been some really, really good players in Telford over the years and in recent times. I think, as Paul in general, our top players don't really play that much. Ernie is the exception. I think, Mikey is the one who's kind of bridged that gap. In Telford, in Stoke, there's always been that quite a lot of strength in depth. If you see people talk about tiers quite a lot these days, and in Stoke, there's always been really kind of defined tiers and lots of them. Whereas in Telford, it's always been more of a
he's had a result there.
A group of players at the top, and then everyone else beneath. And I think Mikey's the one who's kind of bridged that gap more recently. But there's some great players. Anyone want a bet from Jared? That's some shout, that is.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be some people in the chat who want to take you up on that, Jared. Welcome to the chat, mate. Good to have you on board.
If you accept postal orders or luncheon vouchers, we'll have a stab on that right now.
If you want to
$2.50 each way.
Bet some Aldi beans somewhere all over there.
Well, I am.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity here for Ryan.
He's looking at a skill shot, isn't he? So at some point he wants to get down here for the one that's near the pink, the one they sort of played on now. He's a little bit short. But he's looking to play the skill shot, but the loss of turn shot at the same time.
That's the beauty about these rules, that skill shots are shots to nothing. In black ball, you live or die by them.
Yeah. He's played that poorly as well. So he's been lucky in the sense he's left that planting now. So even though the yellow's gone dead there, he's got balls that he can play onto that. I think
that's a poor shot from Ernie.
That's a terrible shot. He's left him this now. He can play the plant. He's let him get his bad ball out here and play the plant of his other bad ball.
And Ryan's absolutely going to take it.
Yeah. Just such a bad shot from Ernie there. And he's been unlucky.
Yeah,
he's been unlucky.
Has he though? Has he?
Yeah, I think so.
I think those shots you can concentrate so much on the pot sometimes that you just take your eye off the white, don't you? And Laney, God, there's another blast from the past.
Yeah. Was quite involved in pool at one time and then sort of stepped away from it.
He gave up pool for women.
Wow.
He got married again, and that was the last anyone ever saw of him. But he was presumed dead at one point. I'm
the opposite, mate. I took up pool to get away from women, so... Lee, good to have you on board, mate. I think for that game, I obviously commentated on that.
I felt for him on that match. I did watch quite a chunk of that.
Yeah, it was a tough match. It was a tough watch, to be honest.
Was it that
mate.
match you and Ryan were commentating on?
It was. First half me and Ryan, and the second half me and Woodhouse.
I watched a chunk of that, and I felt for. But I was impressed with Ryan though.
Yeah.
I don't really know Ryan that well, and I know that. Ernie speaks quite highly of him.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen it before, but I was impressed with the way Ryan played in that match. He's a lot better than I had given him credit for previously, for sure. Yeah.
I think for me it was a bit similar to the Wayne Mikey game today. Don't think Lee was disappointed in the score. I think he was disappointed that he didn't play well enough to win the game. Similar to the way that Wayne's going to feel about that game when he looks back at it. He won't be disappointed in the score because the score was probably right. Just the fact that there's probably he can definitely play better than that.
Are you not taking this red to the bottom right and trying to get that red out now?
Yeah, I don't understand what he's doing, to be honest. I think it's just gonna.
Doesn't go anywhere, does it?
I think it goes past the yellow into the bottom corner.
Yeah, let's get a little top-down angle on that.
Oh, he's got a lovely angle here and into it. Perfect.
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah,
absolutely.
He looked
perfect.
straighter on that.
Yeah, he did. It's deceiving, isn't it? Sometimes. Oh, what's he done?
That's absolutely inexcusable. And as he's getting down for that, I'm thinking I won't be going this way. But they were
I think he was definitely the right way, mate. You can be anywhere, can't you?
Do you know what, right?
If he goes this, should put his hand up. Get him on the... Oh, my God, it went. Oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead.
If that's
dead on the cushion, he chops this.
Chopping this in, or the cartilage double to the middle bag.
No, you can't miss it if it's on the cushion.
You think?
Yeah, can't miss it. Just right hand side. Mustn't be on the cushion.
He needs to see that bottom yellow.
Yeah,
and
it's another frame gone.
I tell you,
it's going to be 8 each, scissors.
8 each is an absolute steal for Ryan.
But you say that Ernie hasn't been great, so you say it's a steal, but Ernie's missed some chances here. So
that's the rose tinted glasses in me. I think.
I think
I think Ernie had the opportunity here to steal the initiative.
Yeah.
Ernie should be 3 or 4 clear at this point.
But he hasn't played well to be 3 or 4 clear. I think 8 each is probably a fair result from where it is now. Yeah, I do.
Again, I think it's possibly just because I know Ernie well that I just haven't felt like Ryan has deserved this parity at this point.
Think about balls missed. think about balls missed. I reckon they probably missed equally the same amount of balls. I don't think Ryan's missed loads of balls and Ernie's been really unlucky. I think they've both played some bad shots.
I think Ernie has been the better player. Just seems to look a little bit more solid, but there have been a lot of unforced errors. You know, we're in frame 16.
Yeah.
I reckon there's been at least 10 unforced errors in this match already.
Yeah, and that's why I think that that rose tinted glass a little bit there, saying that Ernie should be in front. I'm not sure he should. I think KT should probably have a fair result.
I think this is a sort of break which is a perfect example of the cut break. That you get frames like this a lot.
Side.
Yeah, just doesn't suit either player this, and I think perhaps that's where the unforced errors are coming from, because they're not breaking absolutely.
But you say that, I think the balls are broke well, mate. I think again that you're doing a disservice there to the game itself, because I think the balls are broke well. There's been a few dishes, but really between these two, you'd expect there to be more.
Yeah, you're right there.
And if you ask them both now, they'd both be unhappy at it being 8 each. Yeah, Paul, I think you're right. Don't think either of them have found form yet. I think there's been some good pool. There's been some really decent stuff played, but likewise, there's been some stuff that you look at and think, for the quality that these two have, they won't be happy with it.
You can
get into the black here.
Oh no, it's wrong angle entirely. Laney's coming. You know, Laney, I think is feeling how a lot of us have felt in recent times. You know, like Paul will always be there. I'm kind of a bit like that at the minute, that I don't love it as much as I used to. I mean, I used to live and breathe it for a long time. It's a massive part of my life, and I'm just very kind of take it or leave it where Paul's concerned at the minute. But it will always be there. It will always be there.
Do you know what? Something that we've always talked about at Pool. So think about yourself. You know, the travelling gypsy, obviously in the room.
Have Q will travel.
Have Q will travel. Been you know,
play
all
this off
over.
The yellow into the middle right.
Yeah, no, I'm just dropping it in dead weight, mate. I think you can hold it.
Yeah, I'm fannying that all day long. There's nowhere.
You know, think about it. Have Q will travel. It sort of sets you up if you have a sport like this, especially if you're good at it as well, like you are. Always sets you up to be able to have a ready-made group of friends wherever you go.
We've covered this a couple of times over here. So when I moved up from the Midlands, gosh, nearly 18 years ago now, it's like a lifetime. I moved up to Telford. I moved on the Friday and was playing league pool on the Sunday night.
Yeah.
I turned up to a county match and sat down next to Lackey. And Lackey's like, right, you come to the football club tonight. I'll take you there. I'll introduce you to the lads. Gone up there and that's a great shot. What a finish. He's taking the lead. That's amazing. He's taken the lead here.
Yeah.
So I had a ready-made community, and then when I was moving to Stoke, I met you in Jersey. Yeah. Did the same thing, you know, moved over, showed me the sights on the day after. Yeah. We've spoken often about, you know, falling in with the right crowd, and brought me down here, and you know, kind of, you know, it was what it was after that. And you know, I've been very fortunate, like you say, when you're half decent, that you know you can move to a community or get involved in a community, not know anybody, and just have that ready-made group of people. Yeah, you know, and Paul, you often joke that Paul's being good at pool is a sign of a misspent childhood. Yeah. But you know what? It's given me a lot over the years. You know, it really has. You know, friends and opportunities, and
as much as we obviously take. That's a great break. That is, can't miss these. As much as we take the mick about pool, and we obviously take the mick out of each other a lot about pool. I think, you know, without pool, a lot of the people, probably a lot of people in this chat, and a lot of people that are watching this stream right now, you know, probably wouldn't even know each other. You know, and there's a lot to be said for that. You know, and I've certainly made some good friends out of pool. Some of my best friends, you know, are people I play pool with. So, and obviously yourself.
And you, yeah. Every cloud.
Yeah, exactly.
This has just gone a little bit iffy. Can you see that yellow to the middle?
Yeah, I think you can. He's played
a
pretty
do a little
shot.
Top down on. Let's have a little top. Yeah. Can I press that button?
Yeah.
Oh no, he can't.
No.
What does he do?
So already he's chopping this, isn't he? Suddenly now it starts getting a bit messy.
He's had a members bounce.
It's a bad one.
Oh, if that's dropped, he's
a bad one.
And you know, it's amazing how momentum changes in these matches. You know, he's 3 or 4 frames ahead, and you and I, well, certainly me, are talking that the match is over. Yeah. He gets reeled back in, and all of a sudden, those kisses and nudges start going the other way, and he can easily, you know, end up 2 frames down here out of absolutely nowhere. And that's the brilliant thing about Paul, you know, and especially in distance matches. You know, anything can happen, and already it's showing signs of being just like the first match. Yeah,
Sin this is.
No, it's not. Oh, he's got it. Oh, he's had some form there.
Wow.
Right.
Didn't he put his hand up?
That's number 2 on the
Well,
column.
he didn't put his hand
yeah,
up?
exactly. Stick that down, mate. That's number 2.
Wow.
He's nearly missed that.
So getting back to some of the comments in there. So obviously, going back right up to Sean's comment, literally anywhere on that line but screwed back onto. So I think he was talking about a shot where Ernie screwed onto that red and obviously made a bit of a mess of that frame. And I think he's right. You know, it's so easy just to be short on that. You can be anywhere bar there. And I think Brett then came in backing up the point that I'd sort of said that both have made the same amount of mistakes. 8-8's fair, and I think I genuinely think that is right. Obviously, going in then sort of Chris, and he started well, taking a few seconds while playing shot. Now he rushes and makes mistakes, and you sort of see that, and that's the danger of playing someone like Ryan, that he plays at probably a slightly quicker pace than Ernie, not much quicker, but a little bit quicker, and suddenly you can be dragged in at playing to that person's pace, and maybe it's a good shout there that Ernie needs to take that extra few seconds, and also when Ryan makes a mistake, make him think about it. You know, I'm a great believer in making somebody think about the mistakes they make.
Absolutely. There's a few people in the chat now who are getting quite vocal about Ryan's chances, and they're right to. You know, he's right back in this match, and you know, it's all to play for.
Yeah.
I just think that, you know, for me, right, if you were talking about all of this about Paul to the layman, someone who doesn't play, they think we're absolutely off our heads talking about these kind of intricacies and these emotions and these moments and things in a match. But you know, people outside of the game would just look at this and think, oh, you know, it's just a silly little pub game. But there's so much to this that the untrained eye just doesn't get.
Yeah. I think, again, good points that I made in the chat there. You know, obviously Rob, you know, made pool's terrible, met some good friends, circles are priceless, and I think what you do tend to find in pool is that you get a lot of degenerate gamblers. You know, and I think when we say, you know, the people that are playing the game sometimes aren't great, but the general ethos of pool players sticking together in many ways also holds true.
It's almost tribal, isn't it?
Yeah.
To, you know, like
exactly.
I think
it's a
you know,
good way of putting it.
You know, when we've been to Yarmouth and stuff, and you know, I think Yarmouth is a really good example. It can bring something out of people that you never knew existed.
Yeah.
Even the most placid and quiet of people will be going absolutely, he's still all right there, go absolutely nuts over a frame of pool. And just, you know, if someone from the outside was seeing that, they think, God, what on earth are you doing? Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. And the good thing, like I say, Paul will always be there. But do you know what? I'm feeling my age now. I just feel like my eyes still work, but I know that the older I get, it's changing.
You've just got one more mistake in you than you ever had before. Concentration is obviously the key thing. And when you listen to a lot of the older snooker players talk, that's what they say. You know, their eyes can still do it. On any given day, they can be unplayable, but then all of a sudden they'll miss a shot from nowhere that they never used to miss.
Do you know what? I really like this finish from Ryan. This match is starting to heat up now.
Yeah, it is.
Just, you know, has wiped his feet. But do you know what? Like I say, it's starting to warm up a bit now, and both players are showing real intent with this, and I'm really impressed with the way Ryan has come back here. Yeah. And he's caught up with Ernie, and then he's holding it, and he's going toe-to-toe. He hasn't caught up and then burnt out, as you see so often. You know, this is turning into a really good match.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that this will be the last frame before the breaks as well, guys.
I hope so, because I am seriously about to wet my pants.
Lee's made a good point there as well. I mean, I obviously come from a snooker background similar to yourself, you know, and he sort of says he's met more friends in pool from the last 10
100%.
years than he did in snooker at 30, you know.
It's just a different game. That's why I love pool over snooker. You know, there's a decent snooker league in Telford, but for me, there's no crack whatsoever. Yeah. It's all very kind of...
Well, remember that time when you dragged me down into Telford
and
snooker league, mate, and then just stopped playing like 3 weeks later? I ended up like travelling from Stoke to Telford once a week to basically fill in for your snooker team.
We wrote Wacker in as well to play.
Mate, I reckon you will have roped everybody in at some point.
Oh, it was you got Wacker playing.
Yeah, to be fair, though, mate, I've whacked out loads in different snooker and pool leagues and stuff. So he stopped asking me now, though, because he kept asking me and I kept saying no. So he's now stopped asking me. Dave, I did say at the start, so Lee Whitfield, Stoke pool player, very infrequent. And then we got Danny Evans, Telford legend.
2007 Rockwood Ironwood Singles League champion.
Lee Whitfield, 2014 Shipley Open winner.
Bentley Masters
Bentley
quarterfinalist.
Masters quarterfinalist.
That's it, Neil. That's it. You know, like I have a very kind of love-hate. That's the first safety shot I've seen Ernie really
No,
play.
I think Ernie's played a couple. Ryan hadn't played one.
But yeah, I've got a real kind of love-hate relationship with Paul at the minute. That, you know, I can't stand it, but then I watch stuff like this and just want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's very much I'll love it, and then I'll play a few shots and very quickly realise that you know, what's he done there?
Wow. He's just tried to sneak past Ante and just misjudged it.
At what point in these rules do you then start to think, well, hang on a minute, what is that a loss of frame?
Mate, he's never played that as a loss of frame shot.
Yeah, but
has
I
he?
don't, you know,
It's not like one of those ones where you see somebody clip off a ball and pot your ball deliberately
Yeah, I
and
get
sort
that,
of
I get
put
that.
you in a really poor position where, or not clip off a ball, but basically just pot yours clean out over a bag as though they're trying to
Yeah.
clip off a ball and don't do it.
I don't, you just automatically think that you'd be going for that yellow over the left middle, wouldn't you, with your ball in hand?
Yeah.
The
yeah.
top two would be, because they connect, you know, you can pot the right and get on the left.
Ugh.
No,
It's okay.
They
It's
do on
okay,
this
yeah.
table, don't they?
And
But
it's all about pace on this table as well. So
he's got to make sure he gets on this yellow to the middle, because that only goes in. What,
he can sort of
one
go
pocket,
into it now,
like,
though, can't
yeah,
he?
Just
If this is
disturb
thin enough,
something.
just clip into it.
Perfect.
Like that.
And I think it's a, you know, it's a nice way to end this first session. You know, 10 frames all. You know,
Yeah.
what you don't want is a match like this morning where
Yeah.
one person's won it after, you know, the first hour.
Yeah, I think the thing I called this morning was I said that game wouldn't be close. I thought somebody would go away and win
Yeah.
it. It could have been either of them who went away and won it. What I said at the start of this game was I think this game will be close.
Yeah.
Just because they've got too much quality to keep dish for dish.
I just didn't think it would be close.
This
And
one.
I still feel like Ernie wins this by about 5, but we're running out of time for that. So, you know, it's been a good match so far. It's had its errors, it's had its high points. And it's, you know, 10 frames all. It's all to play for.
Yeah. And I think it'd be fair to go 10 each.
Who do you think will be the happier of the two players at this point?
Ryan.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's been the worst player. I think it's been very close. I think probably Ernie will be happy to go in at 10 each there because of the way that the last few frames have gone. Ryan could easily have got away from him. It seems like they're continuing on, so it must be
so
after
maybe
21.
It's 21 then. What's the other match looking like, Lee?
3-2.
No, refresh it. That can't be right.
Well, the
There's
other one's
not a
10 each.
hope in hell that's 3-2. Jesus Christ. How long have we been playing?
We started the same time as this. So it was
So they played 5 in the
o'clock.
time it's taken this 20.
So an hour and a half to play 5 frames.
It was always going to be like that, I think.
Mate, that's disgusting, let's be honest. I'm not...
Yellow over
You
the
know.
bottom right-hand corner. Ryan with the first opportunity here to take an 11-10 lead into the break that we still
Yeah.
don't know exists.
Yeah, let me find out.
But we're assuming there's going to be a break after this. Yeah, Paul Hurst. Yeah, that's. It's been
He's
a
unlucky.
little bit unlucky there. Yeah, Paul's right. That's turning into like a day-night match. Like he's put his hand up there, and I don't know why. You know,
He's played to go into it, and that's
Yeah,
what he's done.
like-
I think he's put his hand up because you knocked the yellow over the bottom bag to leave the big pocket. So I think
do you know
that's what
do
he's
you know
thinking.
what? I am so rubbish, right? I never even thought of that. I'm still thinking he's got to pop that in the middle.
No. So I think
Right.
that's why he put his hand up for.
So all he's got to worry about is that red near the black.
Yeah.
He needs to get on that. And to be honest, he should be aiming for that now.
Yeah.
Because
No,
that red goes from everywhere.
I'm not playing that. So I'm literally playing onto the side rail.
No, I'm doing what he's
no.
doing. No.
No.
I agree with this completely. He had to get on that now. You don't want to be trying
What
to get
are
on
you
that.
doing now? Pumping
Just-
this in and
Yeah, go left
trying to
cushion,
go
right
over.
cushion, and just run it across.
it's got a bit this hard though, mate.
No, honestly.
Well, okay. He had more angle than I thought he did.
Just just got to make sure of this.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward, isn't it?
There's probably a shot where he plays this dead weight and leaves the red where it is.
Possibly.
Yeah, just like that.
Do you know what? He's taken these well.
Yeah,
to
and
be
do you know
fair.
what? This is a real, all fair play to him to go in at the break 11-10. Is there a break?
So I've just spoken to Adam. He's going to find out now when the break is. They're continuing at the moment. I don't think any break's been agreed.
No,
So just waiting for Adam just to message me.
To a finish,
Yeah,
aren't they?
possibly. I mean, the amount of pool these two play, mate, so it doesn't really surprise me. 21 frames in, mate, here. I'm ready for some, feet up.
I'm lying down on the floor in a fetal position underneath the table with a sandwich.
Yeah.
I had a really nice
With a
sandwich on the way
doner
over here,
kebab.
actually. I had, it was like a beef pastrami on rye bread from Morrison's.
Nice.
Really nice it was.
It doesn't sound nice.
Oh, it was lovely, it was. Really nice. Made me quite happy, actually.
Oh, I was just going to say he's drying. It's just last rolls just dropped it in. What are we fancying here then, Danny?
Yellows. They've all got a pocket. I think you just need...
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't love them, but...
If he's on the third one down of the 4 in a row to the bottom left-hand corner, and kind of taking that, for me, I want to get on that yellow on the left-hand side above the black.
Yeah, the one that looks the most difficult ball, even though he's getting reds.
Getting reds, yeah.
I don't hate reds, to be honest. Oh, mate.
Yeah, just...
He could have so easily clipped that black in then,
And when you're playing those at pace with top, they arc. And, all the time you're doing things like that, you're putting unknowns into the equation.
Yeah.
So, he's come out, less than favourable here. But
yeah.
Do you think you can...
I think you have to chop the
that
one
red
up the
the
rail. Yeah, I think I mean, again, it's all to do with pace. As long as you get somewhere
but
close.
Then again, you're chopping this up the rail, your white's moving at that point.
It's the yellow, isn't he?
So you can see that red to the bottom left.
Yeah, he's on this.
The red to the top left. So
it'll be a good finish as well if he gets these. Just for you guys in the chat as well. So again, I know we've got quite a few on. Quick question: we've got 125 or so people on at the moment.
Really?
Yeah. It's a good little
Very
crowd. We have these sort of money match days quite often. If anybody fancies a game, please get in touch with Adam Davies, who owns the Plaza.
We just take a moment. What a brilliant venue this has become.
Yeah.
And under brilliant stewardship. Adam's got such a good thing going on here, and it's credit to a lot of hard work. And money has gone into this. But brilliant venue, brilliant setup. He should be really happy with what he's produced.
Yeah. And for those of you that haven't been here, there's 16 pool tables. There's this one match table that's sort of got a bit of an arena around it, so it's quite nice for any money match games that happen here. And then there's 4 snooker tables as well, so it's quite a big venue. It used to be just snooker at one point. I'm going back, 15, 20 years ago. It used to be all snooker, and there used to be 15 snooker tables, and you were on a waiting list if you weren't in here on a Friday night by 6 o'clock. You were probably waiting all night. He's played a poo shot there.
What on earth has he played there? Could he not just run that through, take his medicine?
You could even have come round and found the gap and took it in this bottom bag.
God, yeah, because you think, I remember, so when I moved to Stoke would have been, about 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And this place was, night and day compared to what it is now. It used to be a really kind of bleak, dark, dank club, didn't it? And, this place is heaving all the time.
Yeah.
And you know what? What I would say is,
this could be Ryan's chance to
Adam's
take a 2-frame lead here.
There are plenty of dickheads in this game.
Yeah.
And he's one of the good lads.
Yeah.
And it's great to see it come off for him,
Well, interestingly enough, I think obviously, talking about nice people in pool, we've got Gaz Everton here today. They're doing a black ball referee course with Viv, and another one of the genuine nice guys at pool, mate. I've got 100%. A lot of time for Gaz. Really nice guy.
I bumped into him in the bogs, right? And just, we weren't crossing swords or anything, but he's one I would. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But he, he's still one of the best players in the world, and here he is down here, helping Viv out with this, reffing thing, and he's just a genuinely decent bloke for all the cocks that are in this game.
Yeah.
He's, it's so nice to see him still do well.
He's got them, not necessarily the correct way, I don't think, but as long as you get them, that's all that matters.
12-10 though, Lee. This is
just said he's he's going to have a chance here to get 2 frames clear.
And we are creeping ever closer to the finish line here. We're not a million miles away already, so 12-10.
I mean, we've played 22 frames there in a pretty quick time. What time did they start? After 5 o'clock, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're going at a good pace.
I can't remember the exact time. Let me look at the first comment that came into the chat, and we'll see.
Whilst you're doing that, Rod Murray in the comments,
Seen it.
talking, when he played Ernie, and that was another one where
I remember
Ernie should
that
never
game.
have won that. I put that match together back in the day, and that just shows you how quickly time goes, doesn't it? It's scary how quickly time flies. I've been back in Telford, God, 10 years now.
Was that the same time that Lewis played Steve Dorr? Was it the same money match one, or was that a different one? Or was it when Lewis played? Or was it when Lewis played Jamie Simons?
No, I think you're right. I think it was the Steve Dorr game.
Was
Some
it?
memory that is.
Can you remember, Rob? Was it the same day that Dorsey played Lewis? I can't remember to be honest.
Didn't Dorsey beat him?
Yeah, same day. Yeah. Thought it was. He's played a good shot there.
Yep.
But again,
just
he's
like
not really
that,
on anything, is he?
Just like that, we're already now thinking, God, Ernie's probably got to get these.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't want to be going, 2 or 3 frames down to Ryan.
Having been
as
four
good
frames up.
As good as Ernie is as a front runner, I would arguably say that Ryan's a better front runner.
It was 7-3, wasn't it, at one stage?
Yeah.
It was Harry Farrell who said, good few comments ago.
Yeah.
That, I think it was words to the effect of Ryan pisses it from here.
Yeah. And since then,
he
really,
might be onto something,
sort of chasing another finish here into Ernie. It feels like, again, I don't want to say must get, but it's getting to the point where some of these are becoming big frames, and all the big frames at the moment just
that's another one that's
all the big frames at the moment are just for Ernie, aren't they?
Yeah.
You feel like Ryan's swagging around the table a little bit now. He seems to have got a bit of a skip in his step that he didn't have earlier.
Harry's another one. He had those couple. He played Ernie, played Ryan. He picks his games well. I haven't seen anything from him on the money match scene. I mean, I'm not in the loop as much as I used to be these days, but I'm not sure if that was a loose one, wasn't it? I haven't seen any more games for Harry. Do you not feel that the money matches
I've got a feeling Harry played one and lost one, but I don't know. But I think he did. I mean, if you're still in the chat, if you tell us what your last money game was, Harry. But I think he played one and lost one, a game that he probably should have won, if my memory serves me right. Might be wrong.
Do you not feel that money matches are not dying out, but there's not many as they used to be, are there?
Completely agree. You go back before COVID, mate,
they were everywhere,
and you were having 2 average players in a club playing for £30,000.
He's had a bit of form there, hasn't he? I was landing on that.
Yeah, there was 2 average players in a club playing for £30,000. And it's all relative, isn't it? Because when all's said and done, as long as you get 2 players that are even, it doesn't matter how much money they play for, as long as it's an even match.
Absolutely.
They don't have to be the 2 best players in the world.
That was the beauty of some of what happened down here. A couple of those games were like a couple £100 a man, but it didn't take anything away from the effort and what went into those matches. It weren't like they were just thrashing balls around. Those boys wanted to win out there today, regardless of whether they were paying for 200 or 20 grand. It was really great to see, and that's the beauty of this kind of money match day format, that you can match the right people up for the right pots. It's all friendly. I think there's a good connection between the players of Stoke and Telford.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of the Telford players, come down to the Stoke events and support Adam and the club. Come along to a few of these money games, and to be fair, from my opinion, Adam won't like me saying this, but there's got to be a time coming soon where they return the venue and sort of some of the players go down there and. Yeah, that was the one. On Beans on Toast as well with Danny. Yeah, that was the one that I think I remember seeing. I think I watched a bit of the game. I didn't watch all of it, so I know that you'd lost, but I didn't know how it came about that you'd lost. So I think he took a good finish out towards the end or something, as I can remember rightly. Somebody told me about it.
Pot that is.
Yeah, big pot.
Our money's in amongst all of that somewhere.
Yeah.
At least he's got toast for his beans.
Exactly.
So Ernie brings one back. Decent finish that, all in all. He had to mind his work and, navigate a couple of tricky situations there. So he's come through it and breaking for parity at 12-all.
Yeah, Ryan had a little chance in that game, and it's a bit of that, putting the foot on the neck and sort of finishing the game off. I think there, you feel like there was a little bit of a run.
Yellows.
The Reds,
no
mate.
Reds, actually, yeah. You only got that one if you red. I think that yellow, which is bridging
mate,
over now.
what is he doing here? This is never the shot.
Yeah, see, this was the shot I was thinking.
Oh, mate, never the shot.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
was
great
the
great shot, mate. But
because on this table, those yellows fly up the rail, whereas
I
I'm
just
used to
that
playing on
first shot
tables
they make,
where
queuing
you're a
over.
million to get that.
You know, queuing over, knowing really it's not going to say the black ball, but arguably the black ball to pot that ball just puts all that additional extra little bit of pressure on it.
Do you know what? I've been really impressed with Ryan so far. I gave him no chance in this match whatsoever, and
I didn't see, mate, to be honest. You know, I didn't see not the comments that you made, but the way you felt about the game.
Oh, that's horrid.
He's okay.
It is, but you
thin
can't
off the
miss
red,
if that
don't you?
pulls up.
No, true. But you can thin off the red here, can't you? Just pot it,
Nudge the red half
pot it
ball.
pot it thin, and just glance off the red.
Yeah, I'd have called that a bit thinner, the white coming slightly to the right.
I think it was probably a bit more awkward than we thought it was, you know, and probably a bit straighter on it.
He's played that well. I've never missed a shot from this position.
No, exactly,
here.
me either, mate.
Never.
Me either. Best commentary player ever, other than Woodhouse.
100%.
Woodhouse is the best.
What
Woodhouse,
brilliant
is
commentator.
genuinely
Though.
never missed
How
the ball.
good is Woodhouse at commentary?
Good.
He's just got that tone for it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think these boys are taking a break. I think they're just
they're
going
just
hard
playing
at it to the bitter end.
Let me see if Adams texts me.
Can we put in like a drinks order or something? Like get some like waitress service or
Yeah, he's just said you need anything.
put
Bring it
Adam in a dress.
Shall we? What do you want on drink?
What do you reckon Adam looks like in a dress?
Thinner than me.
Yeah.
Do you want a drink?
I would. I'd like a Coke. I think. What do you reckon they've got good crisps here?
Yeah.
What do you reckon they got?
Salt vinegar, cheese onion, plain.
Oh yeah. Thanks. Buzzing for that. Oh, look how they split. Just that last ball travelling, that yellow covering the red. Otherwise, they'd fall in by themselves, I think. Right. So whilst Lee's putting our drinks order in, we need a couple more predictions from the chat now that we've seen we're in our 25th frame. You know, where do you guys stand on this now? You know, I'm fully expecting a few more kind of yeses for Ryan's, but from the Telford contingent in the chat, how many of you think that Ernie can turn this around and get the win? Or are there any Telford players in the chat that think, you know, possibly if this is looking like 14-11 Lee?
He's just got such a swagger at the moment, hasn't he?
Exactly, he's a momentum player, isn't he? And he looks like he's enjoying himself out there.
Yeah.
Although
he's fine. He can just
I don't like
two
getting
rails
onto the
here.
black off of the one next to the red.
As long as he's passed straight.
Well, he's straight there,
That's
so he's
just.
dead.
Well, no, I think he's okay. Paul's come in there. Heart says Ernie. Head says Ryan.
This is horrid. I don't like this. Oh, he's found one.
I think that's
as
probably
best as he could have been.
as good as he could have been on that. He's played a really good shot.
I'd be happy
to be
with
honest.
that.
Yeah, he gets this. He gets this. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
We has. How the
It's
actual
only pace. It's
how
only
the
pace,
actual
mate.
fuck is that not dropped?
If that's marginally slower, that drops. It's only the pace that's kept that
I
out.
don't think he could have hit that any better, to be honest.
No.
Like I've seen plenty of streams on this table, and they go when you catch the rail, and that was virtually straight across the top rail. So I'm really surprised to see that stay up. It's an opportunity here for Ernie, and I think he has to take this. We're back to a scenario similar than that. What remember that frame when Ernie had that yellow on the top right-hand corner?
Yeah.
We're 7 against 1. I know it's slightly different because of it's the black over the corner. What are you doing?
I was waiting to see if Adam ever reads this message. Sent me a message.
Was you waving it just to try and push it down the pipe a bit more?
No, I was propping it up against something so I could see if he actually reads it. If not, I'm going to phone him.
Yes or no? Does Ernie get these?
No. I think he plays snooker at some point, mate.
Can't. Absolutely, you got to go here.
I think you have to go. I'm not sure
I
that
think
he
he
gets.
lands on that one in the middle, to the bottom left, and then the rest of them.
Oh yeah, these go, mate.
It's a good finish.
I can't believe you didn't think you'd go.
He's a bit, he's. Can he play this to land on that red to the left middle? Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can
I'm screwing into the red that he's closest to.
Are you
just
mad?
nudging it near the middle bag.
Just drop this in, and then red to the left middle. Oh, I don't like that.
Why?
I wanted to get those two on the left-hand side first, with your the red to the right middle was your last ball. But
Yeah.
he's going away from his work here, so he's just got
But
to make
I
sure
think
he
you
gets
play
right
for the other
on
one,
this.
mate. I think you run through here, play for the other one,
Yes,
and
he's
then
wrong
worst
side
case
now.
scenario, just play the
He's
double.
the wrong side now.
But he's played that so badly that he's now in no man's land.
That's what I'm saying. Like that can happen.
Screw off top rail or 2 rails round. He hasn't queued that, mate.
He just exactly.
He just hasn't queued that at all.
I don't think it was. I think it was almost a nothing shot, wasn't it? He gets this red to the corner though.
No,
Oh, it wasn't even close.
I'd rubber back at the middle. I would. I don't like that. I'm not. That's not for
I
me.
noticed that at the end of Kev West's game.
Yeah, I hate to say it as well,
He
actually.
didn't let that. You know, Kev's the nicest guy on earth, honestly.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have seen him let that young lad knock the black in. I'm the worst for that though. I'd be throwing balls across the room and all sorts before I let anyone do that against me.
I always let people pot the ball, mate. Mainly because I've seen some strange things happen at pool as well.
Speaking of which, do we think Mark Ash is in the chat anywhere?
I don't know. Well,
I reckon he's in the chat, but he's not logged in.
I reckon he's in the chat and he doesn't know how to type in the chat.
That's it. Yeah, he's not logged in. He hasn't got a Google account or something.
Exactly.
Mark, if you're out there, message me just so we know you're alive.
He's probably on 3210 now, trying to work out how to put something in there. Another dry break for me. Ernie's going to feel like the world's against him here.
So me and Mark are down here in a couple of weeks for the EBPF.
Is there any space in that?
Oh yeah, you fancy it?
Is it over? Which one's the easy one? The one that you were in?
Well, we will not go there. No, this is just like the main open tour.
Oh, okay.
But then one of the seniors players won it. That Kevin Selway, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in 2 weeks' time down here.
I'll definitely make an appearance if you guys are here, because you two, between the two of you, one of you are the nice people, you know, from that end neck of the woods.
There he is. Look, there we go. Mark Ash, I'm watching.
Yes.
So he can't log in. Yeah, we're down here in a couple of weeks for that, so quite looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'll definitely come down. To be fair, mate, I did travel like half the length and breadth of the country the other day, and Mark just left.
In Mansfield that time.
Yeah, Mark just
exactly,
left.
yeah.
I came from Telford to Mansfield, and Mark just left me in the lurch.
Nice shot you played there.
Yeah. So you're looking at trying to get a ball off that red in the middle to open the other yellow up. The only ball that he has the option to do that on is the one that's closest to the black.
Yeah, the yellow to the left of the black. So you go bottom right, bottom left.
Yeah.
And then
try to be as straight as you can.
Yellow. Yeah, I don't think you can get straight. I think you've got to chop it back a bit, but I think that's the only shot he's got at the minute. Leave your yellow in the middle of the table just in case it all goes a bit south.
You want Paul Fat Coke, yeah?
He said diet there. He's bad to me, isn't he? What's he trying to say to me?
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
He ain't wrong though, let's be honest.
He's not played a great shot there. He's just got to take his medicine now.
I like this. I like this.
You want to be a bit further away from the cushion.
This is fine. This is fine for the position he's in.
Are you running it through and targeting the red?
No, I'm screwing into the cushion to try and get on that yellow to the left middle like that. That's pan.
Can run this through an inch, can't he? Beyond the yellow. Do you know what? It's a really good finish from Ryan
top
again.
It through. I'm taking my medicine here. I'm not trying to get cute, but you've got the top right corner of the table to land in here.
Yeah.
Or just do that, which I did. I thought he was going into the red there.
No, I think he was always.
This is a really good finish, Lee. Ernie's in trouble here. Lee.
He really needs to get some frames on the board here.
The momentum's gone completely.
Slow Ryan down.
Yeah. Adam Davis, what a guy. Thank you, mate. Oh, sorry. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Coke in a bottle. It's some of the best Coke. And it even says on it, right, and I'm not making this up, it says my mate on it. He hasn't, cheers, mate. Thank you. He hasn't forgotten me, has he? Bless him. Hang on, before you start taking crisps off me, what have we got? Sea salt and should we share them?
Let's
open them both up, mate.
Let's get them open. We're just going to mute the stream for 2 seconds while we open these crisps. Bear with us.
Oh, These are good.
Okay, so we're back on, chomping away at the crisps here.
Question for the chat. What is the best flavour of crisps? Go. What's your favourite flavour of crisps?
Probably memories.
What?
Memories. Prawn cocktail.
Memories.
Memories.
Why are you like that? For those who didn't just see what I saw, he's making a reference to digging out my sister. Made a joke's on you. It was like,
Oh, he's short there.
nah.
He's okay, but you want to be a couple of inches further down, don't you?
Chicken, that's a great shout.
Yeah.
For me, it's Worcester sauce.
Oh, mate, you're just wrong.
Prawn cocktail I do like, but Worcester sauce is the one.
He's flying around this table now, mate.
11-ly.
He's flying around this table now.
I don't think even the most loyal of Ryan supporters thought this was going to happen. And perhaps it goes back to your man calling me out for being rose tinted. He's spot on. I do honestly think there's a lot more pull still to play in this, but I didn't think Ernie could lose it.
Yeah.
I genuinely didn't.
I don't
Barbecue
see.
Walkers, that's a real rogue shout. That is.
Yeah, I don't see what you're seeing there, mate. Because I don't think there's much in these guys at all. And I think it showed that in the betting. The betting was 5-6 the pair, I think.
And you could argue.
In fact, they might even have Ryan favourites in the betting.
You
I'm
can
not
argue that there are levels to the game, and perhaps the levels in Telford just aren't what they are over here. You nearly dipped your microphone in that pint of Coke then, didn't
so
you?
close,
That would have been magic.
So
Yeah,
close.
Rod, Worcester sauce. Love Worcester sauce. So they stopped doing them. They brought out tomato sauce flavour Walkers as well.
Mate, you keep tapping me as I'm interested in this Worcester sauce conversation. You're just wrong.
Mate, yeah, but
All
you're
kinds
old
of
school,
wrong.
aren't you? Oh, I'll have some salt and vinegar, please. Right, Paul House has come up with a great shot there. Bacon frazzles are good,
Yeah.
but the Asda own brand version of them are even better.
Do you know what? I mean, obviously, this match deserves us to be talking more about the pool than crisps, really. But
Those boys are
I
taking
think-
care of themselves. They're doing their thing out there.
yeah, I think the bacon frazzles a good shout, but I definitely think that the flavour in them has got less and less over the years.
This is why I'm saying the Asda ones are dead good.
Flavoursome.
Very much so. Cheese and onion. Oh. Yeah, they're tried and tested, aren't they?
Yeah. I think
His
again,
wife's
what
travelling
has he
here, like
played
he's landing
there?
nowhere. Look. Pull up.
I think the red
got a
goes
shot,
past the red.
Do you dig in and try and use that yellow to
Yeah,
hold?
you have to, because I don't think the red goes into the left corner, so you have
Yeah,
to
it's a
do
great
it.
shot. Oh, he's missed it. Lee, this is 17-11. This match is... It's almost gone.
Close on done.
Yeah. What a turnaround.
Ryan is just flying now. You can
Yeah.
feel it, can't you? You just feel the momentum change in this game.
I will be the first to say I got this completely wrong. And do you know what? If Ryan does go on and win this match, all power to him.
Yeah.
And I think it just shows, right? He's got natural talent, and do you know what? He's got that. I mean, what age is he now? I was just about to say youthful arrogance, but he's probably not that young
23,
anymore, is he?
24, I reckon. We had this
God.
conversation earlier. I'm not exactly sure, to be
And it
honest.
seems like yesterday that he used to be playing with. He's got his floppy hair, and he used
Yeah.
to flop it
The-
over to the side because he couldn't
Yeah.
see shit otherwise. And 17-11, this is wild.
Harry's giving it the Billy Big Barrels now. Obviously, just
I see
like-
what you did there.
See what I did?
I see what you did
what I
there.
did?
I like
Quick bit of
that.
thinking in my head, but I managed to get there. 025, there you go. Hi, Just. Good to have you in the chat, mate.
25 what?
He's 25. I assume he's talking about the
25.
age.
Jesus Christ.
That's mental, ain't it?
God, I still only thought it was about fucking 20 now.
Yeah, no. It's mad, isn't it, really? It makes you feel old, doesn't it?
Don't, honestly.
I
So
sort of
think of him
remember...
25, shit.
I sort of remember, Ryan being in here when he was a kid with Justin.
He was
you know.
tiny little dot,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
yeah,
Just
yeah.
like all these little floppy hair and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's it,
Like,
yeah.
it's a lifetime ago. Like I keep saying it. Like it genuinely feels like it was yesterday. I was playing up here with you boys, and that's a decade ago. Like a decade. That's nuts. Just vanished.
Yeah. Don't you think, you sort of look at Harry here, who's played both these guys, and he's saying who's pricing this game up 5-6 a pair. So he obviously assumes and has made it clear in the chat as we've gone that he saw Ryan as quite a big favourite in this game.
Yeah.
Yet your opinion was completely of the opposite, and that for me sort of talks about how close the game potentially is.
Yeah,
the fact
yeah.
that two people who are knowledgeable about pool
Yeah.
have this game so different.
Yeah. That's the first containing shot I think I've seen Ernie play in you know, the guts of 30 frames there.
Yeah.
I've been really impressed.
It wouldn't surprise you if Ryan gets these, though, mate.
I've been
The
really
way he's flying at the moment, it
Yeah.
wouldn't surprise me
I've
at
been
all.
really impressed with the way that, you know, he went behind and he's just, you know, he got level and kicked on from there, and he's just, you know, nothing's really phased him. And I think he's not the sort of player who gets flustered.
Yeah.
He just kind of just does his thing, goes about his work, and
Yeah.
you know, he's reaping the rewards for it. I still feel there's a bit more to play in this. You know,
How do you think Ernie's feeling now?
oh,
Knowing the way the early part of the game went, and he probably missed a few chances that he wouldn't normally expect to miss, and all of a sudden now you have to deal with Ryan on a heater, you know, flying away from you. It just.
And I think, you know, Ernie and I, we talk at length about Paul, and you know, like we're of the crowd who we analyse it, we overthink it, whereas you know you're more of, you know, you're a clever bloke when it comes to Paul, but there are others who just pull their cue out and just play the game.
Yeah.
But if Ernie has got the ability to really kick on, and I think if he's got any sort of flaw, it's the kind of the mental side of the game for him. And I think, you know, in this scenario, anyone would be feeling it at this point. But then again, if it was the other way round, I don't think it would have phased Ryan so much. If he was 11-17 down, he'd still be playing the same way. You know, he wouldn't have changed.
He's played a terrible shot there.
Ernie will be, you know, this will be playing a big part in the way he's playing, the way he's feeling.
Yeah.
And will have an impact on the shots that he plays, the way he approaches frames. You know, I think he realises, you know, he'll be feeling the pressure. He has to win frames and win them now. And yet, like you say, he's played a shot there, and he's a little bit lost at sea here. And he's automatic. You know, it goes back to what I was saying at the start. You start looking for what's going to go wrong rather than what's going to go right. And he's automatically here thinking, this is 18-11. He's just thinking, well, this is going to go wrong.
I think Chrissy just made a valid point there. Tried slowing down a minute. I think he's not trying to make this frame scrappy, because that's not the way Ernie plays. But it going scrappy probably benefits Ernie right at this point in time.
But and I think this is these rules. There's very few places to hide. In black ball, if someone's dishing you up, you a bit like Wild Rules used to be. You tighten them up, you slow them down.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark's brilliant
Cover a bag.
Mark Ash, you know, like I say, if he knows someone's dishing him up, he'll grind them down.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't do that in these rules.
Yeah. Don't you think though, like the momentum's changed this game as well? So you look here now. So Ryan's obviously going to play the turnover shot with a bit of. Oh, you're going to play that. He's obviously just going. But anyway, he played the shot just. He nudged the black. He nudged the black down, and the black now goes in the corner, but stops the red going anywhere.
Yeah. Yep.
And just little things like that just start taking a bit of a toll on you when Ernie's watching this from the sidelines. You know, those kind of things, because not everyone notices that, but Ernie will have noticed it, which is the main person.
That's what I'm saying earlier. And you know, I to the layman, they just wouldn't get. It'd want to have been a bit closer than that, but the pool gods are real.
Yeah.
The pool gods are real, and it's, you know.
Oh,
he's cued across that there.
Yeah, as he's tweaked that, mate.
That's the first bad shot I've seen him play for a while there.
He's left Ernie the perfect angle as well, just to float the one in the middle with a little bit of left-hand side and just nudge into the red and black, still knowing he's going to be on the one. He's going to be on the one in the middle. He's got to play that shot.
Lovely.
Oh,
he's played one there.
There you go.
Size of that crisp.
Size of my head. Yeah, Zach, I think you've tuned in really at a time where Ryan's sort of taking the game away from Ernie a little bit. Obviously, this frame's massive because Ryan's had a squeak there, and he would have expected to get them the way he's been playing. Ernie needs to go on a run, you know, desperately needs to go on a run. The one thing I would say with Ryan is, and Justin's in the chat. Justin's his dad, obviously. And Justin knows that no one's more critical on Ryan than me, other than probably him. You know, between the two of us, we're probably the most critical people about Ryan. And missing that ball there may affect some people. I don't think it affects Ryan.
Do you know
I think he will just continue on.
Neil's just come up with pretty much that point, and something I've always been critical of.
Yeah.
In that, Ryan just doesn't care.
Yeah.
He just plays his way.
He does care. Everyone cares. It's the way of showing that you don't care. Yeah. You know, and if you listen to him talk, straighten off there.
That's painful. And I bet they split like dollies.
Yeah, can't miss them.
Reds.
Can't miss Reds, mate.
And I think that's the thing.
Plant first shot and you're
that's
away.
That's so powerful when you're playing somebody and it looks like they don't care.
Yeah.
Very powerful
Well,
skill to have.
We talk about money game players, and for me, something I'll always say and always agree on is I believe the better money game players are the quicker players.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than being a more methodical, slower player, working your knackers off to win 2 frames.
Well, you and I have spoken about this, haven't
Yeah.
we? And then in a blink of an eye, you've lost 4.
Yeah, in blink of an eye, you're 4-2 down and you don't know what's just happened. I always think that that's my honest opinion. Not to say there's not some great players who play money games really well, but for me, if you're a little bit quicker, suddenly it just feels like it's more painful when they're taking frames out quickly.
He's taking these lovely,
It's
isn't he? Just no fuss, just run them in.
He's just flying. And Harry, Harry's in the chat. I know we've mentioned him a few times on here, and mainly because he's played both of them. There was that spell that I talked about when Ryan played Harry in the middle of the match. Probably some of the best pool I've seen forever, and it's daunting and hard. It's just how long you can sustain that for, and whether you can just stop in the match. Harry did that. It's down to Ernie now to do the same.
Yeah.
He has to stem the flow of bleeding for him here with these frames that are going really quickly. And if that means covering a bag, covering the ball, letting Ryan go a couple of times, then that's what you've got to do.
Absolutely.
It's all about winning these games. It's not about how you win them and how pretty you win them. It's about winning them.
Tell you what, we've got some great people in the chat today, and if there's a couple of people I've missed since I moved back to Telford, it's Neil Jones and Woz.
Yeah.
There are some really, you've got some really great people.
Good people.
Around here.
Yeah.
Really great people, lovely people. And I genuinely, I'm not just saying it because I'm here and with you, I really do miss Paul in Stoke.
Yeah.
Paul is on the up and up in Telford, but it's just not like it is round here.
When you think about Poole and Stoke, though, playing, at the Loco and at the Manor, really, we put you on the map, myself and Adam. Without us, you probably wouldn't have been Nathan and Poole. Myself and Adam dragged you out the gutter and made you the player you were.
Listen, right, okay. I'm trying to have a really nice kind of heartfelt, warming conversation with you and the people. And then it was only, some sort of little ADHD kid. It was just only a matter of time before you came up with something stupid. You hadn't won shit until I moved around here. And we cheated, admittedly, telling everyone I was a B team player.
Yeah. And
then we absolutely rinsed everyone, didn't we? Glorious years, weren't they? Down at the Loco and the Manor, having everyone's pants down everywhere.
Yeah.
Good times. And do you know what? All jokes aside, it was brilliant for me because, I was decent enough, but playing in a 3-man home side, coming on third after you or Adam, playing with that freedom of it didn't matter a jot what I did because you two were always going to win your frames was brilliant. And, there's some great years down here. And, you look back at some of the characters. Ryan Cope's a good example. Absolute nightmare at times. But to have those people, he is Stokes Lewis Turner, isn't he?
Yeah,
and that's what's so brilliant.
Exactly.
If them two play,
just
be ridiculous, won't it? I think it's a good game.
He's stepped
Ryan's
the pace up a little bit here.
Huh?
He stepped the pace up a little bit here. It's interesting to see Zach say that Danny's had more internet views than anybody. Interestingly, Danny's had more internet views than probably Mr. Beast and probably earned no money off it.
Yeah, I always think about you have these sliding doors moments.
Yeah.
And that I look back and I wouldn't have been conscious about it at the time, but I grew up in a pub, as did most of us decent pool players. We grew up in a pub or a snooker hall, and there would have been a moment in time where I chose, and just that white coming across and killing it dead.
Because otherwise it goes near the bag.
Exactly.
He can now clip off this with impunity, get down the bottom of the table here, open up 2 bad balls, and then he's just done. That yellow in the middle, he shouldn't even be looking at.
What was that word you just used there?
Impunity. So
what does that even mean?
Right, okay, so what you need to do...
My vocabulary is quite good, but I don't know what that means.
If you go onto your phone, there's something called Chrome
on the World
or
Wide Web.
Safari, type in impunity,
Chrome,
definition of...
Like you with an iPhone.
I haven't got an iPhone, mate. I'm the Android boy, me.
We're showing our age there.
He's played a terrible shot there, Ryan. He should have clipped off the 2 that were together, because now he's got to play this shot.
Anyway, never mind that. Tell me about impunity.
Mate, I'm not even gonna start on this because I just really can't be bothered.
What does it mean? Just tell. You don't even know yourself. You just try slipping that in, like no one's going to notice if I just make up a word here. I'm going to Google it if I've got signal.
Mate. Think about what I said, then Google it.
I've had texts, right? So, Coggy's messaged me. Worcester sauce French fries. Great shout.
No, mate.
Great shout.
He needs to get a grip. We need to check his hard drive. What's his name?
Coggy, Chris Lawson.
Exactly. If he's thinking about them kind of Chris, mate, we need to be checking his hard drive.
No, I'm with it. I'm there for it.
I'm not convinced.
N-I-N or I am?
Impunity.
I am. Impunity.
Impunity. He can do it with impunity. You're
So it's
welcome.
definitely a word. Impunity, exemption from punishment or freedom from the injurious consequences of an action.
There you go.
I love that.
You're welcome.
I love that.
You can use that. You can
I'm
own that
gonna.
word now.
I'm going to take. I guarantee you, right? In about three to 4 years' time, you'll hear people coming up here for money match days from Telford, talking about impunity, because it takes a while for things to get to Telford compared to everywhere
like
else.
electric and
Yeah.
running water.
Although when I first moved to Telford, it's the first KFC drive-through I'd ever seen.
Oh, he's just flying right in here. He hadn't played a great shot there, but you just don't see him missing, do you? As he misses. No, you just don't see him missing at the minute. This game's done, mate.
He's making these pockets look incredibly big, isn't he?
Well, he did because he nearly missed that, but yeah,
Where
this
has this
game's
come
done.
from, though, Lee? Right, 7-3 down.
Yeah,
From there, he's won, what, 12-5?
yeah.
From nowhere.
But
How much of that do you think Ernie has allowed him to do?
I'm
or
just going to
has he
say
just kicked on?
that's exactly where my head is. So, if I find it hard here, and I know the way Ernie plays, but that he hasn't gone. At some point here, I'm going to cover a bag and I'm going to make what a shout that is.
Yes, that's the
What
winner.
a shout! Sorry, that just took my breath.
They
then,
do,
that.
though. They
That
blow-
is like the greatest crisps ever.
They blow your tits off those
Yeah,
crisps.
mate,
though.
they are like up
Brannigan's
there.
roast beef and mustard, and you get them in farm foods.
Yeah.
Like
Do you know?
400 packs for like a tenner. It's amazing.
Do you know I once got a Christmas present that was a box of them crisps?
Oh,
just
fuck
a
me,
massive
it's the
box.
ghost of Christmas past again. It's mad. Hello, son. How you doing, mate? Yeah, all the better for seeing you, mate.
Son, you okay? Yeah, good.
Oh, good to see you, pal.
See you, mate.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, well, you're saying we were
everything's going wrong here
talking
for Ernie,
about,
mate.
never mind that. We're talking about crisps.
Yes.
And the best crisps ever.
Yeah, they are definitely up there. Although, and basically, I got a Christmas present off. I'm going to say Wayne, but it was probably Lucy,
It
to
was
be
going
fair.
to be Wayne, was it?
No, it was probably Lucy. And it was a box of those crisps.
Yeah,
wrapped
I
up.
think I remember that.
Yeah. But I'm also partial to the Brannigan's ones, the pickly ones as well.
Yep,
So they're
yep.
quite nice as well.
Uh-huh.
Lots of flavours, flavoursome.
The beef ones are
Choose that.
strong, though, aren't they?
Yeah,
Like, you know you've
yeah.
eaten a packet of them.
Yeah, exactly. You know you've eaten 6 packets of them, don't you? Oh, God.
It's unravelling now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's unravelling
And
now.
I feel for Ernie. I'm
Yeah,
going to be
me
honest.
too.
I feel for Ernie
Me
at this
too.
moment in time.
Although
Because
he's had a bit of a touch there by all accounts.
yeah, he has. He has. But
I think Ryan's at
It's-
that point now where he can chuck this one away and think, right, okay, we're on to the next one. Because I'm expecting, I mean, how many break dishes have there been in this match? There haven't been a huge amount, have
no,
there?
no.
But you just feel that Ryan has got at least one break dish in him from
Yeah,
here.
yeah, definitely.
So, like, you know, Ernie's got to win, what, 9-1 from here?
And it was sort of similar to the Wayne game earlier, and I can see that Wayne's in the chat there, no, obviously on loose account, but it was sort of similar to that game. I went and spoke to Wayne at half time. He was 12-2 down. I said, you need to win the next 2 sessions 6-1.
Yeah.
Put your
And when
14
you
up.
put it like that, it's quite daunting,
Yeah.
isn't it? Are you sure
Like-
that's Wayne? He's usually in bed by 7, isn't he?
Yeah, they
It's
must.
every chance that's Lucy or one of the kids.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, probably. Yeah, it's probably just somebody using their
But no,
account.
when you quantify it, like,
He's definitely been hacked, Wayne, because they phoned him
100%.
and he's like, give over the details and stuff.
do you know what? Right, there's a lot of love for Worcester sauce in the chat right now. Right.
Is it?
Yeah, Laney, Seabrook Worcester sauce.
Yeah, but people are just wrong, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? There you go. Brett's just said that Zach's just been called out for the last man standing, so he's obviously watching that whilst waiting to be
I
called
love
out.
that. I love
So,
that. Of course, he's a pro these days.
yeah,
isn't he?
yeah. Good to have you on the chat, Zach. See you in a couple of minutes when you're out, mate.
That's your doubles partner you're talking about there. You'd be nothing without him.
Yeah, true.
You used to be a big deal.
According to Wayne, I'm nothing without him. But trust me, we played doubles on Tuesday night, and it was a
Scampy fries.
Yeah, another good shout.
Scampy fries.
Another good shout.
Pub crisps they are.
Yeah.
It was always them and bacon
Fries.
wasn't it? I was going to call them bacon frazzles, very different. Bit of a messy frame here. This is the first frame that's been messy for a little while. This. If you're Ryan, do you know what? I like the shot
Before
he's
you
played there.
rudely interrupted me earlier, that's what I was going to say.
We go talk about impunity again.
No impunity.
No.
But I think that Ernie missed a trick when Ryan started to flow and started to fly. He should at that point just have covered the bag, made it so it was difficult for Ryan to win some frames, just to try and
Good shot,
curb that momentum. He just needs to be just past the middle bag here.
I just find
he needs that hold up.
No, it's fine. I just
Yeah.
find it's harder
Oh.
to do that in these rules. You know, like Blackpool,
It
you can
is.
easily grind, lock someone up. In these, you just almost feel compelled to just fire your way out of it.
Yeah, yes and no. Yes and no.
He gets this, by the way.
No, he doesn't, mate.
Oh my God.
Played that so poorly.
I feel for Ernie, you know, he's a mate of mine. He's struggling out there, and it's, you know, he's been putting the hours in. You know, he was confident about this, and it just hasn't gone his way tonight. And like I say, I want. What have you lost?
Your phone. Oh, great.
Good God.
I was just going to look at the score of the game while you were talking.
Got to be like 4-4 now, surely.
Yeah. It's 2-1. Let's have a look. Go on, Karen, talking. 5-4 to Simon Yates.
Gosh.
I mean, that puts it into context. They've played 31 frames here, and those guys have played 9.
Yeah.
So,
You know, is Ammo a quick player?
no, not particularly. He's. Oh, it's a great shot.
When it, you know, he's
He'd have been
earned this.
unlucky. He'd have been unlucky not to be on something there. The way he played it, he played it that well. That it was
But I just
always
think,
going to be okay.
like I say, that, you know, it's amazing what the pool gods do. When things aren't quite going your way and you need a little something, that goes horrible. You know, I don't expect this to find
Don't
its way.
fancy this.
I
don't fancy it.
I bet it didn't even touch the sides.
Don't fancy it.
There you go. Didn't even touch the sides. There was
Yeah,
no
you're
chance on
right.
earth he was missing that. And just like that, he's on the hill. And, you know, you and me have been talking a lot of shit, right? But this has come out of nowhere. You know, we've been, you know, waffling away. And next thing you know, this match is done.
Yeah.
Like, remarkable the way he's just turned this around from nowhere.
I mean, the one thing I would say is, I mean, I've not seen Ryan playing that much over the last few weeks, but when he has been playing, he's been playing with Adam. And that can only either improve you.
I was going to
or
say,
absolutely
you
destroy
and me
the
have,
world.
you and me have both been there. I practiced with him before my money match, and that practice consisted of watching him dish my face off
Yeah.
repeatedly.
Yeah.
And that was when he was still in his pomp and just, honestly, there are levels to this game, and it was absolutely horrific playing with him.
Yeah.
Like, got all the admiration in the world for Adam, but do not practice with that boy. If
Do
if
not
you're hoping
practice
to
with
take
him.
anything out
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
But and you know what? If I would say if Ernie, like, I've always felt if Ernie's to kick on as a player, he needs to be practicing with top players.
Yeah.
And
What a break there is, by the
the
way.
top players in Telford, the top players, don't play.
Yeah. These are gone, mate.
You think this is the match?
I think this is the match.
James Hayward, thank you very much. Very kind of you to say so. You know, I've really enjoyed being back on the mic, and
You do it well, mate. You do it well. I mean, I don't often compliment you, as you know.
often, like never, he's spastic. But no, I enjoy it, and this is the part of it, Paul, I still really enjoy. You know, being a part of the scene, and
Yeah.
you know,
Probably enjoy this side of more of it than
Absolutely.
than the playing side.
the thought of traipsing all the way over here for a game is
best of
painful.
31 or
yeah,
something.
Like, I really enjoy this, and a lot of that comes from, you know, the matches and the setup and the everything. You know, we started Telford. This is gone. We started Telford Pool TV for that reason,
Yeah.
and it's great to see that dynamic still exists
Yeah.
over here, and you know, really pleased that I could.
And there's a lot
Get
to
on
be
the
said
mic.
with the stuff that you did in Telford that sort of like come to here.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, he's missed it. Dafty.
Oh.
This is just the
Paul's
worst
horrendous.
finish to the match it could possibly be. If you're Ernie,
Ernie now must just be like, what has just happened there?
hang on.
What?
Is this only on 19 still?
No, he's 20.
It is 20, isn't it?
Yeah. Ernie should be potting the one in the middle now, going up to the top rail and just dinking that red over the black. And I'm leaving him a gap as well. I'm leaving him a gap, and then after 2 attempts, I'm claiming the frame, try and put him off.
I think
Genuinely, that's what I'm doing.
what horrible position to be in at this point, where, you know,
There you go.
fair play to Ernie. The red mist would have come down for me a long time ago, and I'd have been probably trying to get it out. Or
Yeah,
just
if he doesn't get within 2 inches, mate, I'm claiming the frame. And if I'm Ryan, I'm just going, yeah, no problem, let's move on to the next one.
Cheers, Harry. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks, Harry. Because to be fair, this is a difficult shot
It's
here.
a shit thing about these rules. I hate
Yeah,
them.
this is the worst part of the rules, isn't it? Because what's going to happen now? Ryan's going to try and go to it, go nowhere near, and he's going to put the red closer. He's going to have a go, get nowhere near, and then everyone's going to be looking at each other.
There's
a
no
bit similar to the Lackey game
Yeah,
with
over in the
Lewis
Telford
the other
Open.
day, and it just got a bit awkward for people
What's he
that are
doing?
mates and know each other. Yeah, this is a shot, isn't
I
it?
don't like this.
I don't think he cares, to be honest. So he wasn't a million miles off that, was he?
So and he's played it. You know, there's no kind of he's
You can't
tried
claim
for
it.
that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ian's just got to play the same shot, hasn't he?
Just confirm
Ball
for
in
everyone
hand,
watching. There's no
the
referee
pocket.
in this match, is there?
No,
So
no.
you know, but like you say, it's that whole thing. If you play a shot and then you start looking at each other like,
Yeah,
where's-
this is now awkward.
yeah. You're a bit of
I
a
don't know
bully
what
like
Ian
that,
is
though, aren't
thinking
you?
about here.
You're the first one to claim the frame in that situation, aren't you?
Mate, you were the first one claiming frame of the day. I'm like, no, I think that was okay. You're like, no, terrible effort. Frame away.
I just like to be controversial.
What's he
Yes.
doing here? Like, what is he doing? Why
So
is he
he's-
potting the ball?
Listen, right, let me educate you here, right? He's going to, over the next couple of shots, nudge that closer and closer to the top left. And then when he gets ball in hand, he's going to thin off of the one over the black to cannon into the red that's over the pocket and release the red.
Anyway, we'll take the
No,
medication from Danny.
Right, okay, so he doesn't get out of this, right? Let's say he doesn't. He'll then put that red over the top left-hand corner. I want him to miss this just to present, so he's missed that. Oh, no, he's got it. No, he's missed it. Is it what's happening here? So what you do?
what's he playing now?
Well, no,
then?
because it's different now, isn't
Oh,
it?
okay,
So
it's different now.
you pick the white up and just pot it to the middle.
Mate.
You've got to.
Yeah, you're right. Put it like on the knuckle next to the black.
Yeah. You got to.
You're sort of queuing over the bump then, though, aren't you? But that's the shot. You're right. Just get down, pot it.
You're not going to get a better opportunity
No.
because it's a lot harder to snooker him
Also,
now.
you're 20-12 down. Do you want to make this any sort of longer? Really, just get down, pot it, move
Okay,
on to
so
the next one. If you miss it, shake his hand.
This
Well
is
done,
this is
Ryan.
the match. This is the match right here.
Oh, he's
there
played
you
that
go.
really well, to be
There
honest.
you go. Right, so we've
At
got
what,
another,
at
we've got
what
another
point
frame.
now, if you're Ernie, are you just potting balls? Do you know what I mean? Because like we've all been in this position where you're in a match that you probably can't win because the other player's playing too well that you can't win it, or you're too far behind, and really you're just trying to find some respectability within
Yeah.
it. At what point does it start turning around? 2018?
I'd say
think it-
probably 20. Yeah.
With 2018, you think the
no.
pressure starts like flipping back the other way? Because at the moment there's no pressure on Ernie here. You should have the
But
loosest
then
arm
again,
in the
right,
world.
under normal circumstances, I would say 2016, 2017, but this is Ryan he's
Yeah.
playing against.
Yeah.
I think he'd be 2019, he wouldn't give a shit. And
Yeah.
you saw that in the last match. Even, even when things were going against him, he had that ball pop out the middle, and then in the last match, and then he's missed that ball to the middle as well. He was still laughing and joking, and a lot of that
Yeah.
would have been kind of, like bittersweet type thing. But he
Well,
still was just kind
It's
of.
a nervous energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes people, treat nervous energy different ways. Some people laugh about it. Some people get angry about it. Whatever works for you over time. Because
Yeah.
there will be circumstances these guys, being in these kinds of positions. Not necessarily like 2013 down, but certainly playing games that are, outside of where they would normally be.
Yeah. I think if you want an example of how the second half of this match has gone for Ernie, it's that. I don't think he's on anything.
He's got a top red, He's got the long red. You don't love it, but if it goes,
I'm so bad, right? I'm automatically looking at yellows and thinking, how does he get the yellows?
no, it's the
The
top
reds all
red.
go, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm
You
so
just got to
bad.
cue the one at the top, haven't you? He might play the yellow off the yellow here. I mean,
Thing is, the
both,
way-
both sets go.
The way the yellows are, you've got to, if you miss one, it's over.
Yeah. Don't like this. I always thought
it's
that
all right,
yellow.
that.
Yellow's
I
gone
like that.
safe though, hasn't it?
No, I think the top red possibly goes. Get on the overhead, son. Let's have a look.
Top red, top yellow.
Yellow.
It goes,
Oh, no,
but you've
it
got
does
to go.
not. It
don't
doesn't
you?
even close that yellow.
It goes into the other bag, but you've got to get that side of it.
Yes,
don't
I
you?
mean, I thought it went past it. I don't
No,
even think
no.
you can get on the bottom rail too.
No, I don't.
Yes, it's horrible.
He's going to try and go into it, I think. Oh, he's played that shot there. I said, get onto that one. He's been a bit unlucky there, to be fair.
He has. He has.
You're jacking up Ian, trying to drop that one along the rail.
He's got the thing is, he's like you were saying just now. He's got one foot out the door at this point,
Yeah,
hasn't
yeah.
he? So he's
It
not
was-
kind of fully committed to every single shot
Yeah.
and position. I think he's just.
Oh,
he's,
mate, I don't like this. He's chopping this. That's a great shot.
he's found
he's
one.
deserved that, to be fair. He's played a good shot. I mean, he's not out yet. He's still got to play that same shot that he played before.
Do you play it off that top yellow?
No, I run through about an inch here, then I take the yellow and... Oh, what is that?
Oh, he's gone from.
He's
dead.
okay here.
What?
Clip off the yellow thin, into the yellow on the rail, leaves Ryan no shot.
I think he plays that. He should have played the yellow off the other one. No, that's it. Cross double?
Yellows are just dead, aren't they, as well?
Does he go for the cross double or does he?
No, just clips off it.
No, I like that from Ryan. I thought
He's not played a great shot, to be fair, but I like the fact that he's played the shot.
he's still heavy favourite for the frame and match at this point, isn't he? I don't like this from Ernie.
It's a great shot, mate.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Great shot. All that's going to happen now, he just gets his other bad ball off. Now he's got no bad balls.
Yeah.
It's not easy though, he's got to be a little bit careful here. As careful as you need to be at 2013 up.
Double it, top the white through.
What a poke that is.
Jesus Christ.
What a poke that is.
To win the match,
and just like that.
That's brilliant. But then, when your yellows are dead on the bottom rail, you can take
yellow's
those on
just
all day
dead,
long,
mate.
can't
Yellow's
you?
just dead.
I've got to say, I've been very, very impressed with Ryan here in this match. I'll eat my words. He has really impressed me with this.
Arguably, the second half of the match has just been too good for him.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
That's just a fact.
When you look at this score, there's me talking Ernie by 5 or 6. He's beaten by 8. That's a brilliant win. Brilliant.
Good finish there. I know Ian is going to be gutted. Ryan will be, delighted to sort of, play that well towards the end of that match. I think overall in the chat there was probably, equal for each player.
Yeah.
Sort of brings a close to the money match day here at Plaza. Well, for this game, I know Simon and Damo are still in some corner somewhere battling away, but we'll see them about 2 o'clock in the morning. But for this one, that sort of covers off the stream for tonight. We wouldn't want to bring those guys onto the stream and let you guys endure that. We'll leave them battling away as they are.
There's not enough bandwidth left.
Yeah, exactly.
There's his mum giving him a kiss there.
Yeah.
Well done, son. No, do you know what? It was a good game.
He's like, get off me.
It had it. It wasn't an absolute classic, but I think that the difference was Ryan just. I think the word you used, Ryan went on a heater.
Yeah.
And that was the difference. He broke the back of the match at the right time.
Yeah.
And just honestly, genuinely impressed with the way he did that.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
And you say it's not been a classic, but I think Ryan would disagree with that. I think that second half of the match, he played really well, and I think just stepped up a gear. Whether it was just too big a gear for Ernie to play against, or whether it was just the fact that Ernie didn't play as well as he could, that allowed him to get away. I think it was a combination of the two.
I mean it more in terms of it wasn't a classic in the sense of they were just going toe to toe, hammer and tong,
break dish.
Loads of drama, and it was just Ryan did a job on him.
Yeah.
And credit where it's due. That's a comprehensive win against a good player.
Yeah.
And he's made him look quite ordinary there.
Yeah, and I think
I'm gutted for Ernie in a way because I know the effort that he puts in, and he was confident, and it just hasn't worked out for him today.
Yeah, and that can happen. That can happen. And these two are evenly matched. Yeah. I know that scoreline doesn't show that there, but the first scoreline definitely showed that.
No.
I just think that Ryan sort of stepped up a couple of gears there, and sometimes the problem is, you've got that gear there, but sometimes you just can't hit it. And I think that's a little bit about what happened there with Ernie.
In Telford, Ernie plays like that all the time.
Yeah.
And so that's you'll get that support from the Telford players because they see him down at Ballpoint doing this week in, week out. But money matches are a different thing entirely.
Yeah.
And he, on this stage, he's come away from home.
Yeah.
He's playing on, he's used to playing on Racing tables, so he's playing on tables that play differently, different conditions.
Yeah.
He's taken on the challenge, and all credit to Ryan. He's done a job on him there.
Yeah.
And deserved winner.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, we could sit here talking all day. Myself and Danny, we both love the sound of our own voices, so
Absolutely.
We're going to stop the pain for you guys now, and we're going to look to bring this stream to a close. A big thank you from me for joining into this. Obviously, from Adam's perspective, it's key that you guys keep showing your support for these streams, and obviously tuning in, giving some nice comments, and that's the critical part, really. It's just about coming and attending these days, ensuring that we all have a good time, and that's what pool's about. I know there was a lot of soppiness in the chat earlier about pool making friends and so forth, and I think that's a really valid statement. I'm going to leave Danny to close us off with his fine words.
Yeah, no, really, really enjoyed being back over in Stoke, being back at Plaza, being back on the commentary. There's some great people in the chat really playing their part in what was it, a really enjoyable match. And our guy, didn't come and get the win today, but there'll be plenty more of these in future. Look forward to being back over here. And thanks everyone for joining in. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Cheers all. Have a good one. Speak to you all on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Bye.